everybody gonna be able to see us.
You go on Facebook or?
On Facebook and YouTube. All right, we live. We should be live now. Nobody coming in yet though. We'll see. But yeah, my job, I'm enjoying it too. It's a little bit frustrating because the thing about working in this capacity is, you know what I'm saying, like, even though commanders and base commanders and squadron commanders were like property managers, so to speak, they were most of the time still military minded or still minded about the mission, you know what I'm saying? And they just let us do our job, right? Yeah. But in this capacity, what I'm finding frustrating is that when you work for any you're the client to this property manager, you're providing security. Hey, Yasmin, thanks for joining in. We standing by right now. We ain't really got going with the show yet for real, but we'll be getting started in a minute. We're trying to wait on Peen, and we're just doing a little small chit chat. So if you got some comments or anything, share. Make sure you share the link so other people can join in. We appreciate you for joining in. What's up, Tisha? Thanks for joining in. This is I'm on here with my boy Stu. We're standing by for another person. We just sitting here, chopping it up, talking randomness right now. Trying to wait on. Make sure y'all share the link. Share with other people so we can get some more people to join in. Everybody that's out there, do that. We just chopping it up. But yeah, and working in that capacity, when you're working for the property manager, my mind is actual security and how I can make the security better. You know what I'm saying? And actually being secure. But it comes to a point of where the property manager has certain things that they want, that how they want it to be. Yeah. And even if it's not the best way from a security standpoint, that's not the best way to do it. Or if we did this or did that, it'll be a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this big, huge property. We got a food court, and homeless people come in all the time, panhandling, sitting there, charging their phones, causing trouble sometimes. Initially, everybody was supposed to be given like a 2-hour limit to sit there, and then you move them on, but there's been a couple of issues of, sometimes another issue with like the cleaning people. Yeah. I tell this one dude on the cleaning crew, he's just a snitch, because he'll be sitting here, he don't do nothing, he just sit around and watch, and say somebody who he thinks is homeless comes in, he'll call one of the property managers and tell him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Instead of telling me or somebody on my crew or whatever. And so that just kind of goes around and looks bad. And in the first place, you don't understand, just because this guy looks homeless, he came in here, he has rights. I mean, it's private property, but I really don't have a justification to kick this person out. You know what I'm saying? Because he or she hasn't done anything. So it comes to that. And then, like, I asked for him, okay, so there are, you go to places, you see no loitering or whatever, little signs, just a little sign here and there, you know what I'm saying, on the edge of a table. It don't got to be all over the place, but just on plaster somewhere, so it'll make my officer's job easier to be like, hey, it's time for you to go. As you can see, there's no loitering around here. At least it's already been pre-notified, instead of them just going up there cold and trying to kick this person out, and this person be like, oh, you can't kick me out, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, here it is right here. You know what I'm saying? Or to, really to make an announcement, because they play music over the loudspeakers. Okay, so why can't y'all just implement an announcement, like, hey, welcome patrons to blah, blah, blah. We welcome you. Thank you for being here. Even you can do the COVID restrictions. Please limit your time, such and such, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Property manager, she would never go for that. She doesn't like signs, and she would never go for an announcement because she wants this to be an upscale place and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, you're making my job harder. You know what I'm saying? And it would be so simple, and it just kind of like puts something out there to just to help my people out. Because none of these people, even like most of my officers, don't even have a lot of security experience in the first place. I can't have guard mount and train them, So I'm kind of like trying to bits and pieces and getting these questions that frustrate me, because it's like, to me, it's common sense. But I got to remember that you don't have no security experience, and you just another person with a security uniform on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even in saying that, like, okay, you apply for a security job, you put on the security uniform, you kind of should be in the security mindset and kind of figure it out. But nah, man, it's so tough. But we're working for a property manager is real frustrating, because they don't know security. They just care about what they want and what they want. And a lot of times for me, it'll piss me off, because I'm just like, all right, whatever. You're making my job harder.
Yeah. I'm at a point, man, when I retired, I was like, I kind of got ambitious. I was like, man, I'm going to just go here and do this and climb the ladder. And I'm just trying to get in and get out, man. Because the military is so taxing, man.
Yeah.
So taxing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want the rest of my days to be stressing about no job, man.
Right. What's up, Lisa? Appreciate you joining in. We still standing by for Peen. We just in here talking randomly. Y'all got a topic y'all want to talk about? We're gonna get into love and relationships today. We're gonna get into a little bit about some other things. Whatever pops up. So if you got something on your mind, viewers, don't hesitate to put it in the comments. We'll put it out there, and we'll answer your questions and talk about the topics and things that you want to talk about too. Thank you for joining in. Please share it, like it, spread it out there. We're gonna do this on a monthly basis. Right now, we're gonna do it on the last Sunday of every month, however, fourth Sunday out of most months. Some months may have 5 or something like that, but the last Sunday of the month is when we'll be doing this, probably around this time for Eastern time. And if there are any adjustments to that, we'll let y'all know. But we appreciate you joining in. I'm Said, as you know. This is my man Stu. He was we served together at Edwards Air Force Base, both retired Air Force. So all my Air Force people, if you got people in your friends list that are cops, ex-cops, Air Force, whatever, military, it don't have to be them, but for them, exactly, still hit them up, because we can get a lot of topics going off of that too. Like when was this? Thursday. The Black Israelites are, right, Stu?
The who?
The Black Israelites. Yeah. So I think it was kind of like a group of them that came out in front of our building. So they were out there. Dude had a microphone and an amplifier, and we have 2 buildings going back and one at the end. So it's like he just got this echo chamber, right? Mm-hmm. And he's out there doing his cursing and preaching and Bible scripture reading, rattling the windows, I guess, of the property managers, and they all got pissed off and came out there and like, we want them to leave, but APD, they're not really arresting nobody due to COVID. You know what I'm saying? And plus, they got the right to assemble. You got to, like I'm saying, just because you are upset and you don't like this, don't mean that they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? They move back on the sidewalk off your property. That's public territory right there. The rest of the sidewalk is public. They stand over there, whatever. You might be able to get away with the loud noise complaint, but of course they don't have a decibel reader out there, mm-hmm. And then they don't got time to go in each, and even though it's loud right here, they don't got time to go in your. If you came down from your office to complain, they ain't gonna go up to your office with the decibel reader and be like, okay, well,
Mhm.
You can't hear it. Ain't that loud from here. So why are you complaining? You know what I'm saying? So, but it was like that, and I was upset. I hope ain't nobody. I don't think nobody from work is tuning in to this. I was upset because my director was, oh well, the tenants can't work, and y'all. It's 4:00 Friday afternoon. Ain't nobody doing no work.
Yeah, ain't nobody.
They just mad. They just mad about it. They're just complaining for nothing.
How long was they out there?
They were out there for a good hour or so, but I was on my way out the door. I got off at 3.
Yeah.
I was already there past my time. So it was like it was 4 something, but I had to, because Allied bought the company that I worked for before. So we had to do this whole onboarding thing or whatever. So I was giving out onboarding paperwork and making sure everybody gets squared away. And I was still there for a minute. But yeah, man, then it was just, I'm like, oh my God, can we just, ain't nothing y'all can do about this. Just calm down. It's all right.
Does your security people have vehicles?
Mm-mm.
I would have pulled up playing Christian music the whole time they was out.
Right. well, I didn't think, because I was in the mindset of being off, because I got a bullhorn upstairs. Them upstairs. So I mean, at the end of the day, property manager might not like it, but I can just take one of mine and go down there and stand right across from them. And every time they say something, I can do the siren and do whatever and just kind of annoy them back. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing you doing it. You making that noise, I'm making this noise. It don't matter. But what's up, Bobby? Appreciate you listening in. What's going on, Maria? We're gonna get into love and relationships in a little bit, Maria. We kind of waiting on Peen, but I don't know. You got his number?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, let me see.
I'm about to text our other guy here.
I know I do, but let's see. Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all tell people to join in, keep watching, hope everything is going good out there. Y'all stay safe, be safe on that road and listen. We ain't really talk about nothing yet, Bobby. We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty in a minute. You don't want to love no more. Bobby's my friend says she don't want to love no more. She going through,
Love is a myth, man. Love ain't real.
Love is a myth.
Man, love ain't real.
I mean, yeah, I don't believe, or the version of love that most people in especially in American culture or whatever, is not what it really is.
It's lust and tolerance, man.
Was that?
I said it's lust and tolerance.
Yeah.
Start off, you meet somebody, you lusting over them, everything's good, and then that's when the real person show up. Either you can tolerate them or you can't tolerate them.
Right. So you tolerate them, you know what I'm saying, because your lust drives your toleration. How much you lust after them.
The lust go away. You be like, I don't even like this person.
Yeah, I don't like it too much, But that I guess consistent. I don't know. After a minute, it becomes that guaranteed consistent person that go to, because that's really what it's all about. I mean, especially, I feel like this. Men, and I have this trouble a lot because, coming up, I was married for 3 years. Got divorced around 2000, 2001, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And prior to that, I was green, you know what I'm saying? I was all about love, all about being that, good man and treating your woman right and all that shit that Joe sings about in his songs and all the rest of them, you know what I'm saying? So, but military life, working and whatever, you know what I'm saying? She ended up playing me, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, she cheated. And I guess I can't say that, but what up? She cheated, and like, whenever you get cheated on, you want to know like what's wrong with me? Because I mean, like really at that, especially like at that point in, at that point in time, I was still young, you know, and when it took me a minute. It took me a minute to even decide to get married. You know what I'm saying? Because I was young. I was in San Antonio meeting girls, this and that. You know, I'm a Sagittarius, if that means anything. But I'm a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of women out here. Why I need just one? You know what I'm saying? Especially at that young state. You know, but I moved along and got into it. You know, and got to an engagement. And the thing about it was, she wanted to get married before I went to basic. But I was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? That's two big commitments at once. I don't really know. Let me just get through this thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then basic tech, you know, you get thrown into basic and going through that breakdown, and you know, that's your person that you talk to. You know, you feel absence makes your heart grow fonder and all that, you know, and she had stuck by my side. There's some cute girls on my flight. You know, and that's what kind of made me hesitate. But I was at Bullis during Thanksgiving break. And then I was at Bullis during Thanksgiving break. I went home, came back, and I think we graduated. We graduated. Was that when we graduated from basic? And we had town pass. We went down somewhere and bought rings, and came back. And I tried to put the ring on coming back. You know, we weren't married yet, but I put the ring on just to try to see if I was ready or whatever. And like every time I put it on, and if a girl from my flight came up and talked to me with the PT, somehow I snatched that shit off. I'm like, I ain't ready. I wasn't ready, you know what I'm saying? But as I was saying, like, well, you know, these girls, they got their own dudes here. They got their own dudes there. This girl been ride with me. You know, she been here by my side. You know, when she wanted to start dating, I didn't want to start dating. When she wasn't ready, but she stuck by me and she waited. She just waited it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much the easiest way to catch me, you know, because I'm a long-term shopper. So it came easy to leave the ring on. So I think for New Year's, I ended up, we lived in San Antonio anyway. So we went into the Justice of Peace, got married. But back when I left for basic, she ended up cheating on me on town pass. You know, we tried to have sex and she couldn't do it because it was hurting or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And that was just, you know, it was weird, you know? So I told her to go to the doctor, get checked out. She called me and was like, oh, the doctor said that I got chlamydia, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit. You know, and this is my fiance right now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never had no STD. I ain't never been through that before. You know what I'm saying? But this is a woman that I want to marry doing this, you know what I'm saying? Telling me this. So then, you know, now I gotta go down to the clinic in basic and let them put a Q-tip, you know what I'm saying? Do that whole thing. And I'm embarrassed because like everybody know your business or whatever. When you can't go to no clinic, no, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff is in your military. This is just embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? It's just a small world. But you know, luckily I didn't have nothing because we didn't really do nothing. So, but she had cheated, you know what I'm saying, with this dude that she worked with. And I forgave her for it and still got married, you know what I'm saying? And then down the line, she cheated again. And she, you know what I'm saying, she cheated again with my friend Lisa here. She said with her ex-husband. Yes, that's true. She cheated with her ex-husband. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's why me and Lisa are friends, because, you know, we our ex-spouses cheated with each other. But and then I moved to Florida and me and Lisa were roommates. I lived with her and the dude she was dating at the time, Sam. But like from the time that I made up my mind, you know what I'm saying, as easy it would have been not to make up my mind to get married. I made up my mind that I was in it, you know what I'm saying? So I told her before, like, look, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with it so you need to be good with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times in relationships, I feel like the win is always it's one sided. It's just like the mall. It's mostly for the women because they get to ask for this and ask for that and expect this and expect that and whatever. But dudes, we don't really talk about our expectations that much. We don't really, worry about it. It's always, what is it? Happy wife, happy life, and about making the woman happy, make the woman happy, make the woman happy. You know what I'm saying? And I guess even before that, I always had a mindset like I want to be happy too, because I had dated, in the dating world and coming up from having girlfriends. I just realized like, hey, this relationship stuff is kind of like some bullshit. I'm happier when I'm single because even though I'm over here trying to make you happy, I mean, you don't really be trying to make me happy all the time, or I'm not even happy all the time because I'm too, you get to cry, you get to moan, you get to bitch, you complain, do this, do that, whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I told her, like, look, I want to be happy too. So, we're going to do this. Down the road, in hindsight, when she ended up cheating again with Lisa's ex-husband. And then, of course, that look pushes you back to the first time to be like, man, I was dumb. But, that's when I was all about love and relationships. Then after that, it's just kind of like, yeah, love is a myth. That shit ain't real. You can do everything in your power to make people happy. You can do whatever you want to do, but it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about love. Like, love ain't enough to sustain a real relationship.
Yeah, I don't, because I think we've created this thing where love is supposed to always feel good, and I think when you love, when you have to really display love for somebody, a lot of times it ain't like under cool conditions.
Right.
You guys are getting through stuff, or that's when like you really display love. In the beginning, where everything's new, where that lust is still there, I don't think that's love, and I think we mistaken that for love, even in the military, because I got married when I got married first when how old was I? 22, 23, but I got married in Germany, so I was like, oh, we're gonna get married to get BAH. So I was playing the BAH game, whatever. And the thing is, we held it together for like 6.5 years, and then it fell apart. And from that point on, man, I was gonna be single the rest of my life because I like being single. I could spend money when I felt like it. I could do whatever I wanted to whenever I felt like it. But then I met my wife. We've been married 10 years now, and what I found out is that it was more of having a partner, that helped me navigate this life, rather than having this this love story where we just always in love and always doing these spontaneous things. Even though you gotta have that spontaneousness and all this other stuff. I found out that I had a partner that I could really tolerate,
right,
and help me through things, and I could hurt you through things. But we got that understanding that old love story thing, especially at year 10, that ain't there.
Right.
Like, she hold me down, I hold her down.
Right.
But and even then, even after 10 years, man, I don't put nothing past nobody.
Right.
Like, even me, like, you put me in the wrong situation.
I mean, and that's just a motto that I've, that's like one of my base understandings of life, of human nature and just human behavior. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how people can watch things like First 48 or Women Who Snapped, or like watch anything on any cheaters or anything, and just really, and then the person be like, oh, I would never cheat on you. I would never cheat on you. You can't, what I'm saying? Never say never.
Never say never.
Don't say what you would never do, because everybody has their price. You may have never been put in this situation or given an opportunity, but once you do, you know what I'm saying, depending on the circumstances, hey, you don't know what you're gonna do. I've done things that I didn't think I would do,
Mm-hmm. And I especially saw like after, I went on a short run before I got married, a run.
Yeah.
Then after I got married, I went on a run, and I kind of tightened my game up. So I was like, hey, you go here at this time, and then we don't speak to each other, especially in the military.
Right,
Like, me
right.
as a flight chief, if some of that stuff came out, that
Bruh.
like
Bruh.
I used to, I'm out now, but if it came out,
Yes.
and then what's crazy is there was some things going on nobody could ever
Especially
control.
like when somebody else in the squadron get caught,
Yep.
I'd like, do not answer. Don't call me bitch.
That's the thing. It was people that nobody would ever guess.
Yeah.
So I had my game together, man. I went on the run, but then I saw how dishonest people are.
Right.
So I don't put it past anybody.
Right.
I mean, even myself.
Right.
Like I will never be surprised if some stuff like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's why I mean, like when I'm with somebody, I just tell, like, really, at the end of the day, just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I'm not one of those people who say that to lure you in and get you to confess something, and then I flip out on you. I mean, I really, at the end of the day, a lot of people, even I have told certain lies or did certain things in order not to hurt their feelings. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, yeah, just hurt my feelings up front. You know what I'm saying? Then I can choose how to move, and I try to give people that same respect. Now that I, what I'm saying, it took some growth and some maturity, a lot of drama. You know what I'm saying? And for me to get to that point, because I feel like love and relationships is just something that nobody has ever really known how to do. We just do it, because that's procreation, just the organism being the organism, you know what I'm saying? Just the earth, the function of life, just going about itself. Oh, you know what I'm saying? We need humans, this part of the organism. So yes, men like women, y'all get together, be attracted to her, get together, have a sex, have a baby, you know what I'm saying? So we can keep whatever is in the cycle. It's just science, on that part. But we add I don't know where all the love and the drama and the other stuff came in, because if you really think back, I mean, really primitively, or in other cultures, or like people, even here, like a dude wanted to find a wife to help him have kids so they could have a good farm. It wasn't about love and about marriage and relationships and 3 months worth of salary to buy her a ring and all that bullshit.
yeah.
It was just about, this is a family unit. I need a partner to help me push this forward. You know what I'm saying? And to sustain my place on earth, my land and all that. That's what it was about. But then it started changing into all of this romance and this and that at some point in time. And a lot of people get the wrong, the rom-coms and the lovey-dovey chick flicks and certain talk show, like, all this stuff that's being put out there, this image of love and, oh, it's forever and you just need that one person, and all that shit has clouded a lot of people's mind, and it stops them from really thinking down in their heart and in their soul, like what do you really want as a person? Not what they told you you're supposed to want, not what this one told you you're supposed to want. What do you as a person want? And that's a big thing. Lisa says love is unconditional. It's a choice. You wake up every day choosing their flaws as well as helping each other out become your best self. And that is, that's I guess the partnership part of it, really. If there's, because even people get married for different reasons. Some marriages are just, like you said, like a business deal.
Business,
I mean, like really, all at the core, all marriages are a business deal. It just depends on if we in a business together and we're gonna do this together. Some women, I mean, a lot of women, especially these days, want, they marry a rich man, so she's, in the business of upgrading her life, and the man, a lot of times he wants arm candy, a trophy, a beautiful wife, somebody to bear, somebody to carry his last name, somebody to have his kids. So at the end of the day, it's a contract, it's a business deal, then the love and all that other stuff gets, thrown into it. But a lot of times people put the love and stuff ahead of everything. They just think that's what's going to sustain a relationship, and it's not. What up, De Guzman? How you doing, man? Alex, De Guzman is on here. Was he on your flight?
I think he was. Yeah.
Anybody was saying any comments? Anybody else got any serious? Y'all tell us about your love experiences. Put them in the chat. If you want to, and really, if you want to come in live, you can. Just let me know, and I'll send you an invite. You can come in and talk to us live as well.
I also think our clocks are off, men and women. Like I think women. I don't want to say women are. I think women are ready earlier than men.
Yeah, like women think more futuristically.
Yeah, when we're tired, we've kind of ran the race, and we're kind of tired. We want somebody that's going to be there. Then I think we're ready. But unconditional love only exists between parents and children. I think you can have unconditional love for a partner, but I think there's always a chance that partner can break your heart. Just like your children will break your heart.
Yeah,
your parents will break your heart.
Right.
Like I think we should start looking at relationships as more of a partnership deal to kind of set a foundation to help us out in life, rather than this love thing, man. Because that love thing gets, well, not love, but yeah, that storybook love story that always kind of runs. It gets old, especially after you see the person, you go through the difficult times of that person, and you see the flaws. Sometimes flaws are not easy to get through.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find out that guy that you love really he ain't the most dependable, and he's putting his stuff in front of you, especially in the military, we've seen it happen so much, especially being flight chiefs, man. We see that young airman couple come in, and it all falls apart.
Yeah, got married in tech school because you was shut off from the world. So yeah, you fell in love because y'all bonded and had chemistry, this and that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? She like you like her. And then once you get, you're from damn Alabama, and then they send your ass to Germany with your new wife, and you getting paid on the 1st and 15th, and you can drink, and you can do this, and you can do that, and the world opens up.
Yep.
And so now where did that love go? You know what I'm saying? Now you doing your thing. She calling your first sergeant, you sending her back home. You know what I'm saying? Divorce within the first year and a half, 2 years. We see it a lot. I mean, and sometimes it works out. Any relationship, but I think a lot of times you are thrown into those. And that's one thing that I told myself. I think after I got divorced, I thought about getting married again a couple of times, but at the end of the day, I really did not want to get married again while I was in the military. You know what I'm saying? Especially military men, active duty, they call us hoes, because of whatever. But at the end of the day, I tell them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's dudes that just go to work and go home and they cheat. So it really don't matter. Me being in the military don't make a difference, but there is still, yes, there is a lot of opportunity because you get deployed, you get TDY, you get this, you get that. So it's opportunities on both parts. You know what I'm saying? The one partner that's, if you really, if you meal to meal, or if you military married to civilian, meal to meal, she go TDY here, she can do her dirt, you do your dirt. And even if she's civilian, you go get sent away, and then you can be temporarily divorced from you, or you can be, she'd be back home doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it.
And it's with me. It was two things that happened that I think kind of made me grow up. is one, my daughter's being born. Because then I
Yeah.
started feeling compassion for my friends that I would just hang out with and kind of be like, all right, see you later. And then I
Yeah.
would talk to them. I'd be in front of them, wouldn't talk to them.
Right.
And then I hit them up later on, like, hey, you want to stop on by?
Yeah.
But I started feeling bad about that
Right.
because of that. And this is after my divorce, like, because I
Yeah.
have daughters, and I'm like, man, I started feeling bad about the situation. And then it's just like, then the fallouts, man. Like you get one chick that's kind of how can I say it? She just she kind of roll with the situation, but then you get the ones
Yeah.
that
She
blow
played
you
her
up,
role. You got the ones who play their role, and then the ones who don't play their role.
and you get the ones that blow you up, and then it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then that's when that's when I was like, all right, I'm tired of this.
Yeah. You know, because I mean, like, you know, and then you know, like that was one thing too, is because the lust part, you know, the lust part, you know, and it's and you know, we got the military had its rules and regulations about fraternization and this and that, and you know, about rank or whatever. But at the end of the day, look, I've never used my rank or my status to approach nobody. You know what I'm saying? Or I've never flown it. I never. If I like you and you like me or whatever, I'm just saying. And I ain't sergeant nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, and you are you. But it comes in. I understand how maybe, you know, if a person is lower ranking than you, you know, maybe they're looking up to your status or whatever it is. Because I messed her. I feel like I messed around with this girl once. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, she was I think a senior airman at the time. I was a tech. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like she was an NCO hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like after I found out more and more, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then she ended up not you know what I'm saying, not being you know, I was kind of like on a drought or whatever. And you know, and being a single tech is hard sometimes, you know, from my standpoint, because all my peers are probably married and they got to go home and they can't go out and they can't do this and they can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And anybody, and then we work so many hours. So, and you got all this other stuff to do. So the people that you're going to be around the most are the ones who you work with or work for you, or you work with in some capacity that you see coming and going to work. And then if you're in a foreign country, you know, there might be saying, okay, well, like Germany was cool because like Germany, you could go off base and you can find a chick, you know, you can come back and sign on base, and then you got that one, you know what I'm saying? Because now you know that, you know, if I want to see, if you want to come see me, I got to sign you in. You can't just pop up on me. You just can't whatever, you know what I'm saying? I got to sign you in. But then, like, if you really don't feel like, you know, you can have one on base that you can just, you don't have to go through, because you don't always want to go through the trouble of going to sign somebody in, and you know, but that put people in your business, you know, and especially being a cop. Now you coming in with this chick, and you know, Sergeant Newton came in, blah blah. You know what I'm saying? You got that shit spread like wildfire through the squad, and you come to work guard mount the next morning, and everybody know your business. So you kind of you want to go around that, so you might find somebody that's on base to kick it with, you know, but. It was, you know, you get to that lust initially, to that drive to where they, you know, it becomes flirtatious, this and that, whatever. And it's cool, you know, and then, all right, you know, well, you know, talk about it. You throw it out there. Like, look, you know, try to feel her out to see if she's like just going to blow the whistle. Yeah. Like as soon as you stick it in, you already, you know what I'm saying, might as well rip your stripe off. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to fill it out because you don't want to lose, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to lose that credibility, you know what I'm saying? Or you don't want your peers, you don't want your superiors or your peers or nobody to know about that, you know? But on the other person's side of things, it's good for people. It is, they want people to know about it because it's good for them. You know what I'm saying? It's good for them. It's a good situation or whatever. So it's dangerous territory, but that lust will block out everything that you could lose. You know, it'll just whatever until you. I tell you, I'll tell you. Let me tell you this. Okay, I was deployed to. It was Qatar, but it wasn't. It wasn't Qatar. It was ESCON, or what's the other one that's over there? PSAB was over there, right? You flew into PSAB and then you drove to ESCON, but there was another little Al something base over there.
ESCON, PSAB,
Al something. But I was there. I went on a TDY there to drive for DVs. Mm-hmm. I'm doing that, you know what I'm saying? Me and I was doing Raven at the time, me and one of my boys, just two people, got a room, whatever. We walked into the chow hall every night, and there was this little airman that worked at a little control point, you know, go through, talk to her, whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Flirt, she laughed, this and that. So, you know, like I said, time goes by. I was staff waiting to find out the results for tech. So, you know, we ended up going to her room. The day that I found out that I had a line number, I found out I got my stripe, right? I go to her room, whatever, you know, mess around. And then like, the rooms are small. It's just like once you go in to do something like just the riskiness of it, you realize like, wow, you know, this is the shit that I report to. This is the shit that I read about in statements. This is the shit that I laugh at people about. You know what I'm saying? I'm here right now. You know what I'm saying? And then I go in the room, you know, we do our thing. Somebody knock on the door. My heart is beating. I just got this line number. I think I'm about to lose it. She's like, how to, you know, this little tiny ass room, two little twin beds right here. Ain't nowhere to hide. She's like, how do I'm like, okay, if I pull the covers up and then these little twin bed, okay, if I pull the covers on my head, my feet gonna be sticking out the end of the bed. Like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like a moment of clarity. And so now I'm like cold to her. You know what I'm saying? Because I just realized, like, damn, you almost, you know, if you had a guy caught, it'll be bad. You know, you just got this, you're going to lose this stripe before you even get to wear it or whatever, you know, but that lust up until, you know, I had already bust my nut. So now the clarity comes in and, you know.
Like, man, I have my things. So like my wife now, 10 years.
I'm about to add Peen in. Go ahead. I'm about to add Peen in though.
My wife now was my desk sergeant. So I kind of have when you guys met me in Air Wars, I kind of already been done with the race. And I kind of have my thing lined up so right. I figured out that at the time, the younger females wanted a more mature mindset.
Right.
And then the big thing with females is they want a guy that can keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
The younger guys are going to talk. They want to tell the world.
Right.
But the guy that can keep his mouth shut is the guy that's going to be good.
Right.
And be straight up and be straight up with him. Like, hey, this is what it is. This is how you benefit. This is how I benefit. And I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Right.
And so I ran that game for a long time where we didn't say nothing. Like, we didn't talk about it. We didn't even talk in person.
Right.
So it's like, oh man, I don't even think they know each other kind of thing.
Right.
And it was because I used to have them come to my house, but I would like, when they would get down the street, they call me, I open the garage up and they pull it in, I close it. It was like, and then I open the garage up, they pull out, I close it.
Right.
And I mean, and it was like, it was such a, it sounds bad, but I think it was one of those situations in my time where there was honesty on both sides. So both sides benefited. I didn't try to fool them with a relationship. They didn't go into it thinking, hey, there's going to be something. They knew what it was. And I held my end. I made sure they was comfortable. I made sure they was taken care of, respected, all this other stuff. And they got a more mature setting than than just sitting in the dorm room and some guys
Right.
trying to give them alcohol.
Exactly.
Like I made
Exactly.
them dinner. We watch, like it wasn't even like that all the time. It was like
Right.
I made them dinner. We watched movies some night and just chilled out and talked and stuff,
Right.
laughed and joked. But then it also went down. But I also always made like my way of keeping them quiet was like, hey, this thing is shut down. This thing is over if you ever say something.
Yeah.
So I always gave that, and it was one or two times where like they will find out about each other. So I'll just be like, look, I'm not talking to either one of y'all. And I
Yeah.
just cut them off. And then they got to deal with the knucklehead in the dorms now that talk and drink and all this other
Right.
stuff.
Right.
So that's what happened with me. And then, but then when I started getting tired, I started realizing that it was just ego to me. It was just my ego, like
Exactly.
playing with their minds and playing with them and seeing the reaction. So when I started like realizing, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this ain't got nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with you and
Right.
making yourself feel better. And ego's a motherfucker, man. Ego will make you do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of like calmed down. And when I
what age, or I mean, I know you said after you had your daughters, but at what age or what period do you think that came through in?
So I was divorced, 26? So I went on, I always say the second run. It kind of sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But after my divorce, I was like, I ain't never getting married again. So I did the run. So it was like when I didn't have my daughters is when I played. Like nobody even knew. They didn't even know I had daughters.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even go to certain parts of my home. It was like, hey, bedroom, living room, kitchen kind of thing. So, and I didn't open up my light to them. Because that's what made it kind of weird is it became this thing to me where I don't even know how much they benefited from it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just my thing. And then when I would have my girls, I wouldn't even call them, I wouldn't talk to them. It was just me and my girls.
Right, exactly.
So, but it was that time after my first divorce, man, where I was like, I'm never getting married again. I got my own money. I can do what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I got tired of it. That was like 4 or 5 years, man. Then I got tired. And then like when I wasn't looking, man, I was just like, when I wasn't looking, my wife showed up. And it was like she was exactly what I needed at the time. But it wasn't like on some lustful love stuff. It was like on some two mature people that understood life had kicked both of us in the ass. Mm-hmm. So we kind of understood like this is more than just some lustful sex shit. This is like, let's navigate this life together and kind of help each other out, kind of get through the bullshit.
Right.
But I think that first marriage and I think them years of just doing ratchet shit kind of like calm me down to the point where I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But
what up? We're gonna welcome our man Eli, Mr. P, to the stream. Misfit Leadership. What's going on, man?
Hey, just trying to make it, man. My bad for not being on time.
No worries. Are you on Eastern time or are you on where you at?
Yeah, I'm on Eastern time.
Okay.
I'm in Jersey.
Okay.
Man, been burning the midnight oil, man. Working nonstop, getting this business off the ground, man.
Yeah.
Finally took me a day, to just kick it and relax and recharge.
Yeah, man. You got to do that.
The grind been heavy.
Yeah. Me and Stu been on here chopping it up, talking about experiences and getting into this love and relationships thing.
Man.
Yeah. What's your first input? You got anything off the head right now? You need to get warmed up.
Yeah, get me warmed up a little bit.
All right. We got this comment right here from Maria. Maria says she wants somebody to make time for her even when they're tired and busy. Love is an action word. All right.
That's fair. That's fair. But what are you doing to be a part of their life? You know what I'm saying? So like if somebody's tired and busy all the time, right, in a productive manner, like are you taking the time to make it effortless for them to to add you in that schedule? Or are you making it difficult, right? Because if somebody's tired and busy for productive, noble reason, and you just, stand on the sideline, as an interruption instead of an addition, then no, what's the point of making time for you?
Right. I mean, the way I feel like, I think this, like the previous statement was, Stu started off by saying that he feels like love is a myth. And we started off by talking about how people's mentality and what they think about, like the idea of love that's been painted for people is not really what love is. And you know what I'm saying? And saying that I want somebody who makes time for me even when they are tired and busy. Like, I feel, I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say it's selfish, but like, like if a person is tired and busy, if you love that person, then you gonna understand, hey, you tired and busy. You ain't really got time for me right now. Go get some rest, go recharge, go do whatever you gotta do. I got other things to do myself, you know what I'm saying? And that's love is an action, and this is about love is an action word, action on both parts. If a person is tired and busy, they may be making time for you, or they may have time for you, but if that time is not the time that you expect or that time that you want, then that's where one person is hurt and then the other person feels guilty. But at the end of the day, it really ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? Why should a person be guilty for just being tired and busy? I mean, that's just life. You cannot do everything all the time. It might just be like, hey, and then it's not like I'm not going to talk to you. It's not like I'm not going to see you, but we'll just do that when we can. Right now, I'm tired and busy. I've never been, like for me, I've never been one. I don't like when people do that to me. So I don't do the stuff that I don't like done to me. I don't do to nobody. So if you tell me you got something to do, go do it. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business. Text me when you finish. Whatever. I mean, I'll even try to. What is it that you're doing? You need some help. You need this. You need that. Whatever it might be. And then, but it ain't about giving me attention. The attention ain't got to be on me all the time.
I mean, it's levels to it too, though, right? It's levels to it. Who are you in my life to demand a certain amount of time? You know what I mean? Are we just talking? Like,
right?
Have we been in a relationship for a while? Like, are we at the love level? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're at the love level, then yeah, there's a certain level of sacrifice, but there's give and take, like you said. Like you know when you can fit in, right? And also, like, are you helping me while I'm tired and busy? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I can have time to kick it with you.
Am I tired and busy from running for your ass all the time? Can you do
it? Like I ain't been married 30 years, but me and my wife have been married 10 years. So when she's tired, I go make her a bath. I understand she's tired. When she's busy, I try to minimize the distractions. Have my son come over here and minimize the distractions. Mm-hmm. And I understand that, hey, she's tired and busy. And through that understanding, that's an argument we don't have. And I'm not holding her to this standard that she's just not in the mood to meet, because then that's going to lead to something. And the same thing with me. Like if I'm busy, there's times where, I'm doing virtual school with my son all day, and then I'm working all night from home. And she comes in and she sees, okay, he's busy. He's been up all day. Let me do something for him to kind of cut into that, to kind of help out. That's why I say the partnerships, you're kind of helping each other out. I'm not sitting around saying, come do for me, or she's not sitting around saying, you need to do this for me, and then be like, why didn't you do this for me? That's an argument that's going to happen if we do that. So we kind of look at each other, monitor each other. And when we have time, like on a Sunday, like today is a day that we had time for each other, and we'll do stuff together. But if she's tired and busy, I'm not gonna hold her to the standard of you need to do something for me when you're tired and busy. I'm gonna try to minimize that situation and that is my display of love, where it's like, oh, he cares about me because he did this. He made me dinner. He made me a bath. He knows I'm tired. But yeah, somebody was like, oh, I know you're tired and busy, but you need to give to me. That would kind of make me want to run.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a part of my life, right? To a point where you have actual evidence to where when I do finally have the time, I'm not taking the time for you, or you're making the effort to do, like you said, Stu, to help out, to minimize that, and then I still don't take time, then you can start to complain. But it depends on what level of life, what level you're at in my life in the first place.
Exactly. Maui says that she agrees with Stu that society has made us believe what society has made us believe in love is a myth. She thinks love is specific to each individual's desires. And I feel that, these days, okay. So, you ever been married?
Yeah, I'm divorced.
You divorced? How long did you stay married?
We was only married for 3-4 years.
Yeah, I was married for 3 or 4 years. I've been divorced since 2001. But I feel like love is different all over the world. You got people who have appointed marriages, and then you have people who have multiple marriages, multiple wives, whatever. And I think the whole polyamorous movement, or a lot of people are becoming more polyamorous or whatever right now, or in ethically non-monogamous relationships or open relationships and stuff like that. So is monogamy a myth? Or I won't say monogamy. My answer is I don't think monogamy is a myth, but monogamy is not for everybody. So if everybody doesn't choose to be monogamous, nobody should receive flack or the stigma of, oh, you just want to have your cake and eat it too, and this and that and blah blah blah. They shouldn't get that. If you're a monogamous person and I'm not, then go find you somebody to be monogamous with, and I'll go find me somebody who is down for whatever I want. And I feel like that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has the potential of cheating. When I look at the situation now, for me, I look at it from I wouldn't say a business standpoint, but kind of a business standpoint, where I went through a divorce, where even to this day, I pay a lot of money a year just to be divorced and see my kids a few weeks a year, So I think about that. So I think would I risk another situation just for a little time with this person I probably don't even like,
Right.
Then I gotta do all these things with. I gotta lie to him. I gotta wear protection with him. I gotta do all these things that I don't even gotta do with this person at home. I can just be with this person at home. So that's what keeps me from stepping out. But I can honestly say, I mean, it's our nature, man. It's a guy's nature. And I don't think it ever goes away.
Right.
I don't think it ever goes away. I just don't think it ever goes away. I think and then here's another thing too. Most likely the person we marry is not the person. There's a reason Instagram models have such a big audience. Because there's a whole bunch of men that's married to their wives and they love their wives.
Right.
From I love you for who you are and what you bring to my life.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of dudes that's like that still lust for these chicks on the internet. And then there's a whole bunch of chicks on the internet that can't find them a husband.
Yeah.
Because of what the situation is. Oh, you're here to be lusted over. But you ain't here to wife. You're not going to support me. You're not going to be a partner in this life. Because that's what I think marriage is. Even when we look at our grandparents back in the day, our grannies and grandpas didn't even like each other. But they built a family, man. They built a structure. They built a family. I think that's true love. Not this new stuff where it's oh, we're going to love each other and we're going to do all these, we're going to fill flowers in our bellies every day.
Right.
I just love, that ain't happening.
Right.
That ain't happening.
I mean, the whole, just like I said, I blame, you think about it, Romeo and Juliet, that's one of the greatest quote unquote love stories of ever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we going to kill ourselves for each other, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's not real. No, it's not that. That's not really what it's about. I mean, sometimes you caught up, but what they dated, that lasted they met at the party with their families, and that shit that was a relationship that lasted a week, if that.
It was over on Fridays.
Yeah. That ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Romeo didn't really get to know Juliet, and Juliet didn't really get to know Romeo. And then, you know what I'm saying, the Prince Charming was dating everybody. You know what I'm saying? He's Snow White, Cinderella, Rapunzel, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Prince Charming was a player, so he's a myth too. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the love stories that we watch the movies, you know, and those love stories is kind of like, you know, boy meets girl, you know, boy pursues girl, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. They have this complicated kind of thing, but you know they're gonna vibe and they're gonna come together, you know, and eventually he does something to mess up. He's got to run down the subway, run to the airport, wherever, run and catch her and do this big announcement of love in front of everybody and blah, 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 blah. And she says yes, and they hug and kiss, and then the movie's over. You know what I'm saying? And then, but you don't get to see 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road. You know what I'm saying? That's just what people, you know, people go that far. You know, like most of the stuff that we're fed is the honeymoon stage of relationships. People don't really get to the nitty-gritty days that I love you, but I don't really like you right now. I don't really want to talk to you, and I want you to be okay with me not talking to you. I don't want to talk to you, so don't ask me why I want to talk to you, because you're gonna piss me off even more, and we're gonna go at it. You know what I'm saying? Just learn me. If you really knew me, then you would understand. Hey, he don't want to talk to me right now, so let me just leave him alone.
And I think it's problem on both sides. Of course, it's the man that the man's gonna cheat, but it's the woman too, not knowing what she wants. Like, look at
some cheating ass women out there too.
Movies, and you look at history. Who loved more than Forrest loved Jenny? Go to Notebook. The movie The Notebook is one of the we love Notebook.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen that movie though. I need to watch it.
She did.
She shit on him almost the whole movie. And that's what both of them. You got women that shit on the guys that are busy.
There's some cheating ass women out there too.
Yep. What was said earlier, like, I want somebody that wants me when he's tired and busy. That man that's tired and busy might be building something for the family.
Right.
Like, so there's going to be a trade-off.
Right. While you're out there cheating on them.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Sitting home playing PlayStation all day and got all this stuff.
Right. These motherfuckers trying to build something.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's love. What love is today is not. Yeah, you know what I mean. And you know, from time to time, you know, I look back at the biblical standpoint of it all. Right. I am a God-fearing man, but I'm not like a Bible thumper, but right, the biblical definition of love and what it demonstrates as love, to me at least, still kind of holds true, because the Bible doesn't romanticize love. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives you the nitty-gritty. Like, love is, you know what I mean? Love is like, it holds no record of wrongs and all that good stuff.
Right.
And we don't have, I mean, and really, like, forget just relationship type of love, like love, period. Like family love, I think, is lacking in this generation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the brotherly love is lacking, you know, to have people that you support or support you all the way 100. So, you know, when that foundation is built on something rocky, when you get to a relationship, then, you know, you have no clue what to do, right? And then, you know, the one was a Yasmin, she said what works for one couple may not work for the same. Like, I believe in that 100%, but life is so crazy now that on one hand you're like, oh, you need to mind your business and let a couple do what they do. But on the other hand, some of these people be needing saving. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like it's just crazy. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm be honest, love scares me nowadays. Like I've been single for the most part. I don't know if I get remarried. You know, I used to say I'll never get remarried. I still kind of lean towards that. But like Stu said, like nowadays, I don't even try to court nobody. Nowadays, I go in telling you all the bad stuff first. like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. Like, no, I don't want you to. I'm not gonna smooth talk you. Yeah, I want you to know I got 4 kids. You know, I got a couple grandkids. I don't like this, right? I don't like doing this, right?
Right.
Like, nah, man. You know, and I'm still big on chivalry. You know what I'm saying? I open doors. You know, I still kind of believe in paying when we go out. But man, if I'm being completely honest, nowadays, it don't even be worth it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Why do you? What is your stance, or why did you come to the decision that you'll never get married again?
Why?
Yeah.
For me, because of the process. You know what I'm saying? Because of the process. Not that I don't believe in love, right? Because what it takes in order to find love, right? You can't, you kind of can't, you can't protect yourself when you're searching for love. You know what I'm saying? Like people try to do this whole, oh, I'm putting up walls. I got to test to see what this relationship is like, so it's not like the last one, right? But the reality is like you doing these, preventative measures takes away the opportunity. Like you gave the piece of shit everything, and then some good dude come along, and you give him nothing, and you think it's his fault, right? And the reality is, in order to really find love, like you gotta make yourself vulnerable, right? And after a while, you can't just keep making yourself vulnerable with everybody, right?
Right.
Because it's hard to find and choose the one that's going to be able to that you're able to be vulnerable with and still come out alive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, I give a lot, right? I give a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why it's always funny. Like for me, like if we're just friends, like I don't even have to know you, right? You know me as
Right.
flight chief. Like if my troops is having an issue, like I'm coming to save the day,
Right.
right? So if I'm in a relationship, right, how much more am I going to do?
Right.
But also my level of expectation also rises.
Exactly. It changes
You know
with
what I
that
mean?
because as a flight chief, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, I mean, you don't do it with the expectation of receiving something back, but you do kind of, I don't know if expect, but there is a certain behavior that you also look for to be reciprocated. You know what I'm saying? Just it could just be a behavior. Like when you're a flight chief taking your troop, like really, all I want y'all to do is come to work on time, look like you're supposed to look.
Good job.
Don't give me no phone calls, whatever. That's really all I want from you. I got your back, and the more consistent you are with that, man, you know what I'm saying?
I'll give you whatever you need.
Ain't so hard. So, but in a relationship, yes, and and I feel like I'm a giving person. Stu, you sound like a giving person. You know what I'm saying? Like you say you run a bath for your lady when she's tired or whatever. And E, you a giving person in relationships. And if Bobby is still on here, I know Bobby is a giving person. In relationships, the yin and the yang. Do you feel like the givers are blindsided, or just because that's their nature and they don't really look for nothing back, and but it takes down the road is and when it's kind of like too late, or they've already gotten feelings or whatever, to find out that they're in a relationship with a taker, the one that don't give back? Because I think that happens a lot in relationships. There's a giver and there's a taker.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself because I'm a giver. Like it brings me joy to make other people happy.
Right.
And so I get a reputation of being an asshole because I am kind of, but but primarily it's because by the time I believe that everybody should be accountable, right? And so by the time I reach a point as a giver that I realize that I've been doing too much and getting nothing in return, right? I become offended. You know what I'm saying? I become offended. So at that point,
have you ever gotten I didn't ask you for that, blah blah blah?
Oh, I don't like them people. I don't like them. But I'm what on one hand.
But I mean, there's a grain of truth to it, right?
So one, I don't like those people. Two, it's not about you doing the exact same thing, right? It's not about you doing the exact same thing, and it's about reciprocating a relationship, regardless of what level of relationship we are in, right? Some level of reciprocation is required, right? If we are in a romantic relationship, or I've made it clear that I'm pursuing a romantic relationship, it's a two-way street. Now, right now, if you've made it clear that you don't want a romantic relationship, and I'm still doing what I'm doing, then I got to own that, right? That's fine. But I'm talking the romantic relationship. I'm talking where both members right,
or participate
are in
doing their
this,
part.
right? So you can't say no dumb shit like I didn't ask you to do this
Right,
if you're in
right,
a
right.
romantic
And I
relationship.
mean,
Only time,
that goes into, you know, saying you say you're a God-fearing man, and you know the Bible is of being unequally yoked. You know what I'm saying?
right. So like first, yeah, if a motherfucker you supposed to be romantic in a romantic relationship says some shit like I didn't actually do all that, then you definitely got to go.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah,
but
Like, yeah, I'm kind of stunned by this question because I don't think I could judge anybody by like somebody might view me like say I'm like, all right, I'm doing all this, I'm paying for dinner, I'm doing all this, and they're giving me their time. To them, that time might have meant something. So I can't be like, oh, you're not giving me anything because you might have been giving me your time.
right. You had to get a babysitter or whatever that you had to do.
I agree with that.
A lot. So if I do something and in the end it just like it doesn't pay off, I just got to take the L.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm not talking just you know what I mean? When I say reciprocated, I don't mean that right. You shouldn't be. I don't expect the same thing I do in return.
Right.
I respect some type of demonstration.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's like
I don't want to notice that you're not doing nothing. That's it. Like I'm saying, as long as I don't notice, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be, I don't want to notice that. I don't want to feel that feeling of, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get that tap on my shoulder, be like, you know, in that capacity, you can, you know, it's not something that I'm looking for, but I feel like if you have that thought of I'm doing all of this and you not doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? And if you are that given person, and that is not even, you're not even looking for nothing to be given back, you know what I'm saying? But when you have that thought or when you have that feeling, that is the indication, that's the red flag of, you know, something, there's an energy disconnect in there somewhere. Something gave you that hunch, something tapped you on your shoulder to let you know, hey, you might want to check this out, you know?
or
I think
you know what
that's
I'm saying?
always going to be there too. Like in any relationship, even if you're in a like solid relationship, there's all those. It's always those little bitty spats where it's like you know, you don't ever fold clothes or you don't ever. Oh, I did this all week. I've been doing this, and then like it's always those little bitty things. And then I've seen situations where it's like, hey, I'm doing this, and it's like it's almost like, oh, you're keeping score now. It's like you're doing this, but I'm not doing this. It seems to always be a situation where that's going to be the case.
Yeah. I get the, oh, do I always have to call first?
Yep.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Just happen to be always call first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, my call frequency is not as high as yours. You know what I'm saying? You can dial it down some if you want to. I'm not really going to try to dial mine up just to meet your requirement or whatever. Or, you know, I'm busy. I'm doing things.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for me, that one's kind of on the same level where you it depends on what aspect of relationship we're in. Because like, you know, obviously if we're in a long-term relationship or we're married and we complain about each other calling each other, then we have an issue. But I mean, even I would say, I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's tough to gauge. Like you said, every situation is different. But you know, like if I'm the one that takes us, like when we go out to eat and I'm normally paying, then from time to time you need to cook. You know what I mean? You need to cook a nigga a meal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? If you're the type of person that likes to complain and I'm listening, and then when it's my turn to vent and you complaining about me complaining, we got a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, stuff like that. Like you gotta, like, yeah. I think there's always gonna be them spats, like Stu said. You know, that's just the nature of the beast, right? That's human nature.
Yeah.
Right? But that goes back to that whole partnership aspect, right? Everything ain't gonna be, you know, sunshine and rainbows in a partnership,
right?
You know, but yeah, if I feel like I'm doing too much, then it's a wrap. You've already lost me.
While we was active duty, did you ever have that? Okay, I've seen this. Do you ever seen that one chick who her last name changed maybe 4 times while you were stationed with her, and there was always some other, like some dude and 2 dudes in the squadron, this other dude over here in Maine.
I've seen two name changes. Man, I've seen that. I've seen a guy almost get himself killed because he was with a girl, he deployed, and she moved a whole nother guy in.
No.
Back from the deployment, he turned around and went on the next deployment. And when he went on the next deployment
because of that, or just
IED,
because?
He had an IED, like hurt himself real bad. Like he ended up getting a Purple Heart, man. Like meeting the president and everything. Like,
yeah.
But jacked him up, man. This guy was like, oh, he's gonna be a senior chief one day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Over a girl, man.
Yeah.
I
mean, and I think that's a big part of it too, is because especially if you're young, he was young at the time.
He was young, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When you're young, ambitious, and you're a man with that drive, you just winning, winning on every level. And then you have that. I think that's kind of what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say I was winning on every level, but I was winning on most of them. You know what I'm saying? But then my ex-wife did what she did, and it just, like I'm winning. Like if I'm winning, and you still chose to pick this loser or whatever else you went out there and did. So it kind of like knocks wins out of yourselves. It can fuck you up, mentally, because it's like if you're young, it'll make you feel like, because in any most of the time, or a lot of the times, or at least in my situation, like if it's that type of situation, if they're just being undercover and sneaky with it, then on the surface for the other person, the relationship is fine. Like there's little indicators here and there, but they ain't complaining to you. They ain't saying, can you do this? I need this. I need more communication. I need more of this. I need more of that. Mm-hmm. They ain't telling you ahead of time. Then boom, boom, boom. If you find out that they've been creeping, and then you get the answers about, oh, you should have been doing this. You should have been doing that, and blah, blah, blah. Like, well, if you had told me, you know what I'm saying? You could have told me that and I would have tried to do it. Or we could have talked about that before you stepped out. It ain't even about me. That's what people need to understand, because you feel like that a lot of times, but it ain't about you. It's about that person wanting to feed their ego, like Stu said, wanting to, do whatever they wanted to do, and then when they get caught, then they try to be like, put the complaints on you. Don't listen to that shit at all, because they could have told you. Listen to that. You could have told me that. When you're hungry, you tell me you're hungry, don't you? You tell me when you're going to eat, right? You know what I'm saying? You could have told me you needed more communication. You could have told me you needed this, you needed that.
There's always going to be something. There's always, back when I was running a race, I keep saying running a race, but back then, I would look at what they needed. I would look at what the other one's not telling them, and then I'll just tell them that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be real. I just find out he doesn't give me the time. Okay, I'll give you some time.
Yeah.
He doesn't do this. Okay. Oh, he's not spontaneous.
Right.
Oh, he's not ambitious. He doesn't have goals. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be something with us. There's always going to be something with them. It's always going to be something.
Yeah. And a lot of times there is no explanation.
I think the majority of holding a relationship together is understanding, okay, what can we do to get past this? Because you're not always going to be defined. We're always not going to be the young guys with the 6-packs. They're not always going to be fine. They're going to get their little belly. They're going to get, things are going to start sagging. Everything. So it's like there's always going to be something. Just like in the beginning when you're just living life and you're playing video games, you got all the time in the world. But as time goes on, as you get older, you got to start working.
Right.
So you're not going to be there. So we got more toys. We got more things to play with. But I don't have a lot of time now.
Right.
So there's always going to be something. And I think the problem with relationships is that we all always looking for that next thing.
Yeah.
Like, we started a relationship and he was funny and he was this. Now I'm spending time with him. He ain't so funny no more. Or he was this, but now he's not this. Or it's always, and we do the same thing.
But when it comes to women, you will discover that the joke that she laughed hilariously, she laughed for 10 minutes at last week, will piss her off instantaneously this week. No doubt. For real? Am I lying?
Yeah, and, I mean, we the same way, because in the beginning we like, oh, she gonna do all this, and then when we get there and it's like we together, she like, I'm tired, my head hurt, and all this other stuff. But then there's somebody else that tweaks that for her, make her smile a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like I said, when I got married the second time, I wasn't gonna get married. I was gonna stay single the rest of my life. I didn't trust women. And I mean, at any time, I know that my current wife could do some foul shit at any time and it's over. I mean, me too. I could do some foul, like in the right situation, the right circumstances. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's just what it is. It's honesty. It's just what's gonna happen. But I had no plans of doing it because I understood. I understand people change. So now when I'm like sitting in the house and I'm married and I'm being pissed off or she's pissed off, I understood, okay, I put myself in this position. So I can't just leave. We gotta work through this thing. Because I decided to do this. But if I was single, I'd be like, nope. I think that's the cool thing about the single life is you don't have to deal with it if you don't want to.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful. I mean, it has its it has its downsides, of course.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like I don't know, like, we was flight chiefs. I mean, sometimes I would be jealous when the fellas came in with their lunch boxes and the lunches their wives made them and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had somebody make me a lunch. But at the same time, 2 weeks later, I'll be like, man, I'm glad I ain't got to deal with that.
Yeah.
When you issuing that no contact order because they fighting and shit.
Right.
Yeah. Hey.
Or he go to you wide and I see you out with somebody else. Oh, wow.
Being in the military and being security forces, having to deal with these relationship issues does kind of taint your perspective, man. Because we see a part that others don't see. Like is some of them no contacts or domestics we have to respond to. You know, for me, like I used to feel the same way. Like, you know, I'd be so busy. It's nice to be by myself, but from time to time, you know, you want to be, you know, hugged up or something, and you know, I'll get me wanting to hug up on them, be like, nah, this ain't it.
Right.
I can't do it.
Right. You know, I mean, especially I feel like, you know, with all of us, as we mature and grow in age, I mean, you know, they say what is the frontal cortex doesn't solidify really until you like 25 or 26 years old. That's when you like just, you know, it closes down and that's now you who you are, and now you know what you know. You can still develop off of that kind of stuff, but you know, in the midst, you still don't really know what the hell you're doing. But in coming along, what'd you say?
I was just saying, by that time, the female had already threw her good years away to some.
Yeah.
By the time she's 25, it's like, oh,
it's
man,
done.
threw the good years away.
Especially if she live in the dorms and all that, you know. But it's like as you know, like for me right now, I can cook for myself. I might make my own money. Like when the only thing that I need, quote unquote, from a woman is that companionship and that somebody that I like having around, that I like, that don't ask me dumbass questions that I don't want to answer or stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Just somebody that knows me. And like you said, you get to know, like, are you really taking the time to get to know me? You say you like me, you say you this, you say you that, but the feedback that I get from you doesn't jive with what you're saying because you don't know me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting to know me. You ain't really concerned about how I feel about this. You know, you just want what you want and hassle me and mess with me until I give it to you just to keep you, quote unquote, happy. So I can get what I want from you. You know what I'm saying? So then, like you said, but then you cut it off and you get to a place now to where I'm okay. Bye. Bye. I don't need it.
by our mid-20s, so we dealing both sides, female and male. We're dealing with scars from previous relationships. We got those imprints of, oh man, he did this or she did that. So we always watching for it. So the next one that come along is like, all right, she did this, he did that. And then what the female's asking for, the men in most cases are incapable of giving it to them. And I think the same thing with men. I think if men want women to let him do what he wants to do, cook, clean, and have sex when he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll pay some bills. He'll like take her out. But we asking for a whole lot.
Yeah.
And she want us to be gorgeous and ambitious, and got money and loyal and spontaneous.
Right.
And all the, like, so what we're asking for, we're both asking for sports cars, but we got enough money for Honda Civics.
Right.
You sound like Kevin Samuels. But
this is real. Like,
you're 100% right. But the problem is, right? Neither one of us are sports cars, but we're not willing to, to drop the standards. Like, you ain't listen. I ain't giving you a sports car. You're not giving me a sports car. Let's just agree and understand that. And, you know what I'm saying? And accept where we at. I mean, if you want, we can go work on being sports cars together. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. You're right, Stu.
All right.
You're right.
I'm gonna step away for a minute. We got this comment from Magnetic Vortex Resonance.
You got me rolling.
On that, a large percentage of women, marriage is like a dream job. Then a couple of years later, demanding half ownership of the business that hires you. Family law overwhelmingly favors women.
I mean, I know that's true.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Like I got nothing.
Like before we went live, I was telling Seth, like, my ex-wife who just retired yesterday as a chief. I'm nervous because I'm like, she retired. I'm like, she gonna stick me for some more paper or something. So yeah, I believe that, man. I believe family law hurts us, man.
It does. Stacy says if she asking for money or looks, next shallow as fuck. I don't know if I agree with that 100%, Stacy. Like I'm okay with the woman asking for money or look, so long as you're being, like we said, she putting out the same in return. Like you want the money and the looks. What are you putting to demand that, right? Because we brought up Kevin Samuels, but he be savage with it, but he be talking some truth. You know what I mean? Like you. And I never been the type to be upset when, like, I'm all about it. If I got it, I'm splurging on the chick. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's not no, oh, she's a gold. That's my choice to do. Right. But if I'm splurging on you, once again, what am I getting in return? And it can't just be sex, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I just wanted sex, I go find me a working girl. It's a lot simpler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I don't think there's nothing wrong with asking for what you want. Like you might get it, but like you were saying, I don't know if women know this, but sex ain't as valuable as they think it is.
It's not.
Especially after we done, we're like, oh, that wasn't.
But they've been cashing in on that. I mean, but it's like that mind game, and you know what I'm saying? Or there's not. It's been cashing in on that for years, and it's gonna keep on happening. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I mean, that's always been like the one thing that I noticed. It's kind of like, okay, I got to go out and buy, all of this stuff, and try to figure out what I make and get you for your birthday, Valentine's Day, anniversary, or whatever. But every year you just put on that same little, when you put on that same little lingerie, oh yeah, there it is. There go that outfit. I know what time it is, and that's all I get. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, put some thought into it.
Yeah, I run into that problem a lot because, like, I'm very simple, but I'm so simple that I guess it's complicated. You know what I'm saying? Because, when I be like, I just want to chill, Motherfuckers be like, oh, he can't just want to chill. Like, no, I really just want to chill. Like, I really don't want to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be your gift to me for my birthday or doing something nice to me. You know, but then you want to do something elaborate or extravagant and then get pissed off when I'm pissed off because I told you I didn't want it.
Right.
It's really simple.
Yasmin says looks are important. It's important for you to be attracted to your spouse. But I feel like attraction, not everybody, attraction comes in different levels too. You might not be attracted to their look, but you might be attracted to their drive, their motivation, their, you know, something else about them. It might not necessarily be a physical attraction.
I think that's a
But I mean, physical attraction is the first, I guess that kind of like is, unless you're around a person and you're hanging out with a person, you get to know them in another roundabout way to kind of like start to like them and see them as a potential partner, then you can see that side of them. But physical attraction is the first ping that you get on a person, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on how you meet them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's I hear that all the time. Well, I don't hear it from me, but I hear it all the time. Like you hear it, but then it's like women got to be honest with themselves. By the time they mid-30s, like they ain't the best. You know, they ain't the best. You take that makeup off, you take that lace front off,
take them eyelashes off.
Yeah.
Take that bra off.
So like you might be fucking over yourself, like not getting a good man because you want the guy that looks good. The guy that looks good to you most likely looks good to other women.
To everybody else.
Men are only as faithful as their options. If they put themselves in positions where they're gonna meet other people, it's gonna happen. It's gonna go down.
You out here preaching.
Most husbands just stay in the house. They don't put themselves in a position to fuck up. So that guy, that gorgeous guy that you're looking for, like, is gorgeous to all women.
And you know, the attraction thing is kind of fickle, right? Because there's different things that come into play with it, right? Because you've seen studies, right? Especially when you start talking about marketing and advertising, right? You put a guy in front of a Chevy Cobalt, you know what I'm saying? He don't look too attractive. But you put that same guy in front of a Ferrari or something, they're like, oh, he's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you think if Jay-Z wasn't Jay-Z, could he have gotten Beyonce?
Oh, no. No. Like I think
no, and that's supposed to be okay. That should be okay. Right? That should be perfectly fine.
Right.
I think women should I don't want to come off like I'm telling women what to do. I'm not. But I'm saying I think they should be looking for somebody that's gonna bring them stability into their 40s and 50s when they don't look so cute. Because you gotta understand, men peak later. Like our looks go, but our finances go up.
Yeah.
So we peak later. So and what that means is we have the finances to bring somebody in for the night and send them home in a day. So all those little things you bring, we don't absolutely need it. Like we can if our finances at a certain point, then we have companionship. And most likely we can get companionship by young, prettier women. So if you're looking for a man, you might want to look for a man that brings you stability in the 40s and the 50s and not that gorgeous man.
Right.
Hey, Yasmin asked, why do people turn ugly as they get older, Stu? I think it's because they're tired of the bullshit. They don't want to play no games no more.
Because our bodies are dying. That's what we get.
They be like, fuck the bullshit, okay?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Does everybody get? I mean, like, but I'm saying, unless you get, those are getting surgery. You know what I'm saying? I know some. I don't know. I don't know if I should use J-Lo as a good. Who's gotten older? Who's gotten older and stayed beautiful? Like who's the older? Like I got the hugest crush on Tracy Ellis Ross is mine.
First of all, let me just say that I'm more attracted to older women. I prefer older women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I prefer a woman that has some life under her belt.
Right.
I think everything about an older woman who's been through life, right, is beautiful. I love it, right? So like, as far as getting older and turning ugly, if you're talking from a physical standpoint, like there's many different levels wrong with that, right? Because one, if you're taking the time to be healthy, period, forget trying to look good. If you're just trying to be healthy, you already know, right? That involves taking care of your body, right? Taking care of your body, your mind, everything, all those different things, right, play a part in your look or your health as you grow older, right? So in that aspect, I think there's a difference. We have to identify the natural occurrences that life gives us, and we have to also differentiate the choices, right? Because some people make a choice to let go of themselves, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and that's a whole different ballgame. I don't think that should be in the same category as growing older, and so
Right. So in this, I mean, so a lot of this is sparked off from the recent events. You know what I'm saying? We Derek Jackson has been in the news a lot lately. He was out here giving all this advice about what women should do, how women should act, and all that type of stuff. So but now it recently came out that he's been cheating and all that stuff. So do you think do you think he was off the radar to her, or have they had a toxic relationship? Nobody really knows. You know what I'm saying? Those are questions that are being answered. But I mean, to me, I never really trusted him or believed in him.
I think his old lady knew he was cheating. I think because she's been with him for a long time, so she knows him. Respect his hustle. Don't get old enough to ever. Oh, okay.
What happened?
Listen,
I'm not. I ain't gonna disrespect black women.
What
women as a whole after 25 start going downhill, especially if they have a kid or two. But I think she knew he was cheating. But I respect his hustle. I respect him going in the room, telling all these women, "It's not your fault. It's the guy's fault."
Listen, anybody who expects him to not be like that is dumb, right? He's dumb. He's got 3 million followers, right? All women, right? Like guaranteed, like that. Women be some shiesty motherfuckers too, right? Like they see this dude, they don't care who he has, right? If he's a good dude, they want a piece, right? You tell me 3 million women following this dude, he wasn't getting. Come on,
He doing all his videos from his car.
I'll tell you, it's options, man. It's in our nature, man. It's in our nature to reproduce. It's just what we are. So it's in our options. So half of those women that was following him probably wanted to sleep with him. I mean, he looked.
That's why they're watching. I mean, I feel like, especially like that leadership role, like we were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like women like to see a man that is stepping out and saying something different, saying something and just blowing them up. Hey, beautiful in the morning. Hey, beautiful text. Good morning, beautiful text in the morning. And what you doing text, in the afternoon or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes, unfortunately, don't have game for real. Even the ones who think they got game ain't really got game. So all it really takes is for you to start talking and saying these things. Like you said, like Stu said earlier, just the shit that they complain about is the shit that you say.
Yep.
And there you go. However many million followers.
Yep.
The Pied Piper, you know what I'm saying? Leading them slaughter.
How long was he married?
How long?
4 years or so? I don't know. I just started looking into him when this happened, when this stuff happened, because I avoided him. I avoided him because of, like, I heard what he said, and I was like, oh man, I ain't listening to that dude. Like, I ain't turning this in. Why he giving away all the secrets? Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. They've been married a couple years. I don't know. I respect the hustle, man. Him hustling, him telling him. And then the thing is, they called him the perfect man.
There's no such
Not
thing.
off his actions, but just off his words.
Right.
So
this is heating up over here. in
I
these
know
comments.
we got some magnetic vortex and Maria going at it in the chat.
Are they?
Hey, magnetic vortex is a woman. Okay, magnetic vortex is a woman, right? And the way she's putting these steps sound like I might need to, you know what I mean, say what's up.
Right. She's speaking on something, right? She preaching.
Yeah.
Most women don't care about their struggles.
I like the comment that magnetic vortex made earlier. That what was it? Let me find it.
What was the finish line?
No, the
Yeah.
women don't care about your. No, not that one. It was the one about the expectation about whatever. Damn.
Oh, I've learned that modern women want the power and benefits of a man, the privilege and entitlement of a woman,
Right.
and responsibility and accountability of a child.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's real.
I agree with that. Because when it's, you mean, like that, I would say that's huge, right? Because I think that's that's one of the biggest disconnects, I believe, in the relationship between a man and a woman, right? Is understanding the level of responsibility that comes with being a man, right? Like being a man, right? And especially being a black man, right? I'll say it, right? There's a different level of pressure that comes.
What and expound on that. Expound on that part a little bit.
From all the different sides around you. You know what I'm saying? Because like as a man, right? You right, the woman, not even just the woman, right? The woman, the family, the kids, right? Right. If you're that person at work, everybody around you is looking to you. Right? They're looking to you to do something, to make something happen. It's your responsibility, right? Something go wrong, it's your fault. Something go good, you had nothing to do with it, right? The amount of pressure and the amount of pressure is rising, and the amount of support is minimal, right? And it's like you're battling every minute of your day, right? In the house, you're battling for some level of love and respect and support, or trying to convince them that you are doing your best, or if you're at work, you're battling, right, with the outside world, right? It's always some level of battle, and what other people, when it's their turn to hold that baton and feel that pressure, they're like, nah, we don't want it. We don't want it. Oh.
Yeah, I heard somebody say, man, like men ain't truly respected and loved until they pass away at their funeral. Then everybody realized how good he was.
You're nobody until you die.
Oh, they're going at it, ain't they?
Yeah, they are. I want to meet both of them.
Hey, I mean, and at the same time, like if you want to join in on this live chat, just let me know and I'll send you an invite. That's what it is. You can be on this screen talking to us and asking your questions as well. So don't hesitate to do that. What about the Will, like a few months ago? So we just the Derrick Jackson thing, but what about the Will and Jada situation?
What about it?
Entanglement and her and August Alsina and all that. I mean, we heard for years that Will, that they had an open relationship, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can confirm or deny that. But now it comes out that Jada, I ain't even watched the Red Table Talk or nothing, but
I think that long ago was a business deal of some type. And I saw that because I don't even really watch that Red Table because I feel like it's a lot of BS.
Yeah.
But to myself, I'm like, did Will do something so foul back in the day that this is his get back and he got to eat it? Because you got to think about it. Will got more money than she do.
Yeah. Will been hustling a long time.
So she could have got him years ago. She could have like Juanita Jordan him years ago.
Yeah.
So I just think he had to take it on the chin. But I also think what you accept in your marriage is if you have an open relationship, that might happen.
Yeah.
So what you accept. So it's like, hey, if I'm going to accept and allow this to happen, then it might play out like that, and it might boil over, just like the Jay and Beyonce stuff.
Yeah.
But Jay kind of said it. If Jay didn't say it and she didn't say it in the Lemonade album, we wouldn't have knew.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at their situations and I'm like, that's how, not so much the cheating, but that's how we should be as far as marriage goes, Black people anyway. But we should be thinking about marriage as a partnership and a business thing, rather than us saying, oh, this doesn't feel good to me. Will couldn't handle it, period. He had his fun with other women too. I don't think he couldn't handle it. It's just, you made him look silly in front of everybody.
Right. I think.
Or no, she didn't make
if I have a problem,
like, because we talked about the side person or whoever you messing around with playing their role. She didn't make it look silly. August Alsina didn't play his role.
Right. If anybody have an issue with it, it's August. Yasmin said a lot of men can't handle what they dish out. Some not all. That's everybody in general. It's not just men, Yasmin.
Right. Now I was gonna speak on that earlier because I always get this. Oh, when men cheat, they want the woman to forgive them, blah blah blah. But when women cheat, they don't want. Men can't handle it. And I don't really put weight on that point of view because I feel like. I mean, I understand why they're saying it, but I feel like men are the way that they are when it comes to a woman cheating is because women are always seem to be more vocal about how they will not step out of a relationship. And then a lot of the heavy lifting, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to take you on 3 dates even to, I spent $300 just to get you to like me pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that, like what men have what men have sacrificed and put into it. You gotta, you as a man, it's kind of like the expectation is, think of a nice place to take her. Think of this, think of that. We always thinking of how to impress her, how to do this her, and how to, to win her over if you are interested in her. And you don't mind doing that, but that's what you're doing. You've done these things to win her over. You know what I'm saying? So then once you got her, and y'all riding together, and then she steps out with another dude just like that, you be like, well, he didn't have to do none of the shit that I had to do. You just gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? I thought you was smarter than that. I thought you was whatever more than that, So I think that plays into why men take a woman cheating as more a serious thing than women taking a man cheating.
I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I mean, I guess it depends on the type of women. Some women, are grimy, like we said, but I think for the most part, it's harder because of we know what it takes for the woman to cheat. Like it's more like for a dude, you know what I mean? For most guys, it's like, oh, I just, I'm just in the mood. Like I just need to tap into something.
But women get too. Is that a myth? Is that a myth that us as men have placed? Women, can y'all comment on that? Sometimes y'all just want to get a nut too, right?
Right. But I think most women, even though they get that feeling, they're more right for a woman to actually cheat. It's more of an emotional thing than for a dude to do it. Like for a woman, I mean they need to get a nut or whatever. But I mean, at least most women that I know, right? There's an emotional connection that's required for them to step out, and when that happens, right? That I think that's where, it's harder for a man to take. Women are more forgiving for the most part. I disagree. Women might be more forgiving on that topic that we're talking about right now. But women hold grudges more than any person I know in the world.
Exactly.
I think the thing is, once you cheat on a man, like he'll stay, he'll still try to care for the most part, but there's something inside of him where you're kind of dead to him at a certain point.
Yeah. And then I told this story earlier, about how when I was in basic and tech school. At the time, she was my fiance. She cheated on me, but I still married her after the fact, And I think part of the reason, and off that comment that you said, you kind of dead to him, a man when you cheat on him. But I felt like at that point in time, we hadn't made vows to each other. You know what I'm saying? So this is how I look at dating. Really, in all actuality, how I look at dating and anything that comes before a marriage is that's what dating is for. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm glad it happened now. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's for. Go on, you know, so you did what you did. She came back, you apologize. Don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to be here? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Because if that's not really what you want, if you want to, you know, say if you want to creep out every now and then, I just need you to understand that I'm gonna creep out every now and then too. You know what I'm saying? So we can just be on the same level because we did not go make these vows to each other at this point. You are free to go at any time that you want to go. And I'm free to go at any time that I want to go. A lot of times in the dating world, especially here in America, people treat dating like a marriage. I mean, like, if you just boyfriend and girlfriend, there ain't no such thing as cheating. You just boyfriend and girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in all actuality. Okay, if you decide to be exclusive with each other, okay, that's exclusivity. But even still, like, the moment you decide not to be exclusive no more, then no harm, no foul. All right, I want to do this, but we're not.
That's a double-edged sword, though. That's a double-edged sword, though. You know what I mean?
I know it is, but I know it is, but it's real though. That's how
humans. Well, I don't think that's real, right? Because we're humans, we're creatures of habit, right? We're creatures of habit, right? So when you say, oh, you know, if you're in a relationship with boyfriend, girlfriend, that's not cheating. Like what type of incentive or motivation is that to move on to the next level, right? Because then, right, when you get married, right, it's just I do, right? It's just a paper, right?
So like okay, but what comes prior to the marriage though?
What you mean? What comes prior to the marriage?
You get the relationship, right? You get
the relationship that's supposed to be showing you, right? It's supposed to be showing you whether or not it's supposed to get married.
Prior to the marriage, you got the engagement, and prior to the engagement, you got the dating phase. So, okay, I'll say this. Okay, after engagement, after the man, if you ask this woman's hand in marriage, this means you are choosing her. Like, look, I like you. I want to be with you. And blah, blah, blah. So you have made a statement. Ain't nobody else. I've been out here doing my thing. I pick you. You make the engagement. You buy the ring. Now, from that point on, you locked in. But, you know, and leading up to engagement, listen. Leading up to engagement, this is all part of it, because anybody that gets to that point, you have obviously gone through the steps of cutting other people off, not being tempted by this one, not that one, not that one. That's all part of the dating process for you to get to that point of engagement, for you to get to that point in marriage. So if you do step out or do something with somebody else, then that means you're saying you're not ready.
Listen, if you marry somebody, if you marry somebody who has a habitual, right, who has the habit and habitually steps out, regardless
of whether
you're just dating or engagement, you earn what you get. Like,
exactly. There's a lot of guys that say, "Will you be my wife so I don't lose you?"
Yeah.
That because that'll shut down a breakdown right there. Like you might be on the brink of a breakup.
Yeah.
Like, propose to her.
Right.
Especially if she wants to still be in a relationship. A lot of women will be like, "Oh, we're good now. We're about to get married. Everything's about to be fine." Nope.
I mean, okay. I got another story. I got stories for all of these situations. Yes, I'll be putting my business out there. But so, you know what I'm saying, I got 3 daughters by 3 different women, right? And so at that point in time, to where I had 2 girls pregnant, and I had another girlfriend besides them 2 girls, right? But I I still cared about my daughter's mom, you know, or I was drawn into feeling like she's carrying my child. So this is where I should be, you know, but I had this girl that I wanted to be with, or I felt like I wanted to be with, you know? And so the drama happened or whatever, you know, so she found, you know, I was between the two of them, I was between baby mama and I was between girlfriend, you know? So then it came to a point to where, you know, you can't keep it up. I couldn't keep that up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm lacking with girlfriend now. So you know, and I knew, you know, and that proposed to avoid the breakup thing came into mind because I really she was the one. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? And all bullshit aside, she was the one. But I knew that if I was to propose at that time, that it was out of selfishness. It was out of me trying to keep her because I felt like she was the one. And I told her that. I'm like, look, I got this situation going on. I messed up. I could, and I understand that I could propose. I really feel like I want to propose to you. I really feel like I want you in my life. But I also feel like it's driven by selfish motivation. You know what I'm saying? Like if I wouldn't be asking you to marry me right now if all this other bullshit wasn't going on, or if you didn't know about all of this. So I don't want to, you know, you deserve more than that. So I won't do that. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remove myself because I've done enough. I respect, you know, regardless of all the dirt that I did or whatever what I did, I do respect you. You know what I'm saying? And that might be a mind fuck to some people, but it was real, you know, like it's just what it was. I respect you. So I'm just gonna remove myself from the situation and not even go there. And I mean, and that's what you really, you know, out of that selfishness, out of that trying to just, you know, it's kind of like what a woman can do is get, you know, men will propose to do that. Women will get pregnant to do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because when you think about it, marriage is not really a beneficial thing to men. I mean, other than say how we married or whatever, or I mean, from a religious aspect, it's not because marriage doesn't change us. We are who we are. I think it's more because it gives a woman a title where she's like a respectable title of wife. I'm his wife. And I don't know if that's old school because I know like you ever around like your old granny or something, she'd be like, you know, when is he gonna marry you kind of thing. Y'all just, you know, y'all living up and y'all like living together and stuff, y'all not married. But I don't think the title of I think that the whole marriage thing is not, it doesn't really benefit the guy that much. I mean, besides the fact that all our stuff is gone if it doesn't work out, kind of thing.
Right.
That's real.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, the women, a couple of the women who have made it to the Forbes list, they made it there because of divorce. A couple of the richest women in the world are that way because they got divorced from the rich men. I think Jeff Bezos' wife, it knocked her into a new bracket.
Oh, Jeff Bezos' wife, I want to say Amazon was her idea from what I've read about her.
Okay, so
from what I read about Jeff Bezos' wife, she was there for the beginning, right? Right, put the bug and helped him build that empire.
Did she?
But still,
that was, I want to say she was the librarian.
Okay, and that's just like Safari saying he wrote all of Nicki's rhymes. But I mean, okay, so your name, okay, it's like, okay, you did that, do it again. Build another Amazon.
Listen, I'm okay with giving a woman the money if she earned it. I mean, if she deserved it.
She ain't hurt. Right? Why does she deserve? What does she deserve? We are all. She's able to work. She's an able-bodied person.
I'll give her the money for peace, just to not have to.
Yeah, that too. That too. I'm okay. I'm okay with like the money. The money part doesn't bother me.
Oh,
The
I
money
mean,
part,
and okay, that's
the money part
but
doesn't
giving
bother
them the
me.
money is not the point. But what I'm saying is the benefit, like it knocks them. A lot of the richest women got put into that bracket. Okay, maybe she's a bad example, but there are others on that list, other rich women on that list who got there because they were married to a rich man, got a divorce, and took half or
I
whatever.
mean, but as a man, right? Like I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like as a man, if I got money, right, I have to expect this, right? Like I have to expect this. So like if like I'm not gonna be mad when I split up with a chick and she want like I knew I should have known that this was coming from the beginning, right? And if you don't want to deal with that, then fucking don't get married, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's different levels, right? Because like even now, I'm a single man trying to start a business, right? Starting a business, right? It would be very helpful if I had a helpmate who did nothing with the business and just took care of a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
that would take a load of stress off of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even in that type of relationship where the wife had nothing to do with the business but just supported the man, like that's still a lot to me, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like that's still a lot.
But
Hey,
every great
said,
man has a greater woman. Whatever.
Somebody said part of divorce is splitting things. That ain't always the case. Because my ex-wife took all the things. She just gave me joint custody, and then she went back later on and took that. So she got all the cars, everything.
Who that?
So
Bezos' wife?
No, he's talking about his wife.
Somebody was saying like split things as part of divorce. That ain't always the case.
Right. What about Kanye and Kim split? Did you ever think they was gonna make it, or did you ever care? I don't know.
No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they made it this long.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I'm one of those guys that think Kanye's a brilliant dude.
I like Kanye.
I think Kanye is one of my most brilliant guys that we're not gonna know how brilliant he is until he's gone.
Right.
I mean, you gotta think about it, man. This guy he's been thrown away, and he's the richest black man in American history. And we threw him away years ago.
Yeah.
Like this guy is brilliant, man, and we shit on him. That's what's crazy about it.
But a lot of that's how brilliant people get treated, right?
Well, I mean, I think Kim's gonna tax that ass. I mean, it's no
of
question.
Course. That's just part of her, that's part of what's her mama name? Kris
Jenner.
That's what got them. But I don't know. I think Kim deserves it, though. I do think Kim deserves it.
Yeah.
Because I think Kim kind of held him down when he was going through his rough spots, man.
Right.
So I think she earned it. But of course, I mean, some people don't earn it.
Has there been a relationship or a divorce that shocked you, or that, like, if Obama and Michelle broke up, would you be surprised?
No.
Bob Johnson's divorce broke my heart.
Oh, Bob Johnson. Oh, that broke.
Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson.
Who is Bob Johnson?
The former owner of BET. He's the one that founded BET.
Okay.
She divorced him and got a lawyer.
It was like 33 years.
Wow.
It was like 33 years.
So that's insane, and how, like that's my thing. Like when I see, if I like my divorce is whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like that's whatever. I think anything, like it's kind of like the military, you re-enlist. But like when you get to that second re-enlistment and you just about at that 10-year mark and all your supervisors telling you, hey man, you might as well, you at 10, you might as well go on and ride it out. Like 18-year, like anything over 10 years of marriage, and then you get a divorce, it's like, it's like that's a whole lot of time wasted.
Listen, I always say for
33 years.
If I make it past, like I was only married about 3 years. If we make it past 5 or 6, you ain't divorcing me. You better move to the basement or something. Right? You better move to the basement.
Right.
What you call it? Yasmin Hiley said. So since all of y'all have been married, name one positive thing about yours. What do you mean about our
About the
marriages
marriage,
or about our ex-wives?
about the divorce, about the marriage, or about the divorce.
Yeah. What
Man,
part?
name one positive thing about yours. Now,
What part are
I
you
got a
talking
positive thing
about,
about my
Yasmin?
current marriage. I think the positive thing about my current marriage is I kind of saw the faults from my first marriage, and then I have a true partner that kind of got my back. That kind of like times when I was like going to school and I was like, man, I feel like quitting. I don't feel like doing this or like when I got the job transfer. When I got the job transfer to Texas, I called my wife and said, hey, can you find me a job in Texas? And within 10 minutes, she was like, oh, I found something. And I was like, could you forward my resume? And then I got like a call the next day. And then I had like relocated 3 weeks after that. So that is a partner that got my back where
Right.
she's helping us both. And then I reciprocated that with paying for a nursing school. So now we're together going through life, like, going through the ups and downs, but I got somebody, I got a teammate with me.
Right.
My first marriage, there was nothing positive about that. We were both young, doing stupid stuff. And then she blamed me. And the courts listened.
I would say my first marriage, my ex-wife, we're still cool. We still have a great relationship. Well, I shouldn't say still, right? It started off real rocky. We were both very young, especially me. And I would say we probably split up more so for lack of understanding. We got married pretty quick. We were both very stubborn. And so today, like we're really good friends, right? And if I was being transparent, if I were to get remarried one day, I wouldn't be surprised if it was to her, right? Even at this point, and I think that's a big thing, Stu. Is like growing up, maturing, right? Reflecting back, and I start to realize that a lot of things that we had issues with was dumb. Like it was just stupid. Like
Right.
75% of the stuff that we had issues about today, I would just laugh about. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like, that shit's funny. You know what I mean? So we're still cool. She's a great cook. Still one of the people whose food I love the most. Even now in this journey, start my own business. Like she's one of my rocks, like in the process. So, so I don't have anything crazy to say. Said, is this really your house? Because I want to play this grand piano.
I think that's
no. This is a bad one.
Hey, I was saying the same thing. I was like,
background. You know what I'm saying?
Say you got a grand piano?
I got the green screen on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't in here John Legend like that. You know what I'm saying? I wish, but as far as
I don't have anything negative to say about my ex-wife. At least not.
yeah, I mean, when like my marriage was good up until the end. Like we didn't argue a lot, we didn't fuss a lot, we didn't have a lot of things going on. You know what I'm saying? Like we hung out. I actually got to know her, and I mean the divorce. When she started stepping out, and I feel like she had a lot of identity issues, because she was mixed. She was half black, she was half Mexican, and she was the only out of her siblings. She was the only one that was mixed. All her other siblings and her family was all Mexican. You know what I'm saying? So I imagine she grew up with the curly, like just all the shit. Because when I met her aunt was gay or lesbian, but when I met her aunt, she did all these like racist comments, jokes, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I imagine she grew up dealing with a lot of trying to just figure out who the fuck she was.
Yeah.
And I think that carried on, still into our marriage. And that's why she, when she was hanging out with single people and doing whatever, she kind of wanted to fit in. And that's why she did what she did.
Yeah, Yasmin says she got divorced after 18 years, together for 20. That scares me, right? That scares me, right? Because I know for me, I was only married for 3 years, right? And when you're in a relationship with somebody, right, such as a marriage, that person becomes part of your life, like part of your identity to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to readjust to single life just after 3 years was rough for me. Like, I can only imagine what that's like, readjusting your life after 18, 20 years of having somebody as a constant in your life. I mean, I agree that nobody deserves to be unhappy, but damn, son, that's
I
a
don't
grip.
know, 18 years, man. I'll be tired of a motherfucker after 18 years.
I'd imagine so, but you might be, but after 18 years, like that's a constant in your life. Like you almost don't remember life before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Unless
shit.
you figure out that's the reason you're unhappy.
Yeah,
Is at
that too.
18.
But even that's a process. Even that's a process. That's tough. Well, I'm glad you're doing great now, Yasmin. I'll I'll check out your profile a little bit and slide in your DM since you're single.
Oh, I can't see I don't know.
You hit the comments where it say private chat comments on the side. You found it?
What's up?
Still you froze? You still there?
Stu look froze.
He looked froze. I think we lost him.
Hold on a second. We're gonna take a little brief break. Let Stu come back on.
Oh, we lost him. What's wrong with said had to go. He had to go tune up that grand piano he got in the background.
So, as far as what's going on with Misfit leadership these days, what you got anything going?
Man, right now I've been kind of chilling. I've been
Yeah.
chilling on the Misfit leadership and focusing on the Laku, on the business, the other business. So the Misfit leadership, uh, Misfit leadership is basically the consulting, not even consulting really, man. It's just I kind of want it to be a movement. I haven't even decided what I really want it to be. I don't even want it to be a business. I just want to normalize. I just want to normalize the fact that we aren't perfect and it's okay to not be perfect.
Right.
Right? I want to normalize that making mistakes is normal and okay. Right? And I want to normalize, right? Not saying that you don't hold yourself accountable or others accountable, but right, in reality, it's our misfit personality, right? Our shortcomings, our fuck ups, right? Our mistakes, our bad decisions that mold us into who we are today, right? Like the fact that the three of us are able to sit down and have these mature conversations is because of all the things that we went through, right? The fact that we were effective flight chiefs is because we were knucklehead airmen, right? And could relate to those truths, right? All these different things. So the fact that I do make mistakes, the fact that I'm not perfect is what, in essence, to a certain extent, makes me perfect. Right? And every single day, right? And it's not about not shying away from accountability. I believe that you have to be ultimately accountable. I hate this generation, we take positive affirmation too far, right? We take that positive self-talk too far to the point where people are lying to themselves, right? In this journey so far, with my business, one of my biggest problems, unfortunately, with our people is people who wanna like sell their product, right? Sell themselves so much, and when it come down to it, they can't deliver, right? They can't deliver because they're not accountable, right? They're not honest about themselves, right? For me, I'm honest. I know that I have a struggle. I know that I have a uphill battle. So every morning I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get on my grind every day to meet that expectation, right? And if I miss it, I'm okay with it because I know that I worked my ass off to get to where I got, and I now have a blueprint so that the next day I can work towards getting a little bit closer to it, if not meeting it or surpassing it, right? And that's basically what I want Misfit Leadership to be, and that's part of the driving force behind starting a business in the first place. Is right starting a business. So it's a multi-use business, multi-use property with multiple levels of income. So I have I'm currently in a lease for a catering hall, 10,000 square feet, 4 acres, right? And the plan is the kitchen is like 2,000 square feet. We got a hall, and so the plan is to set up the kitchen to where it's a commercial kitchen, shared kitchen, to where different restaurants can come in and operate through like the ghost kitchen concept. Keep the halls rented out as like for weddings and different things like that. But the goal is to keep it as at a low point, because you find that these venues out here are ridiculous. They cost so much money.
Yeah.
Right. So my ultimate goal is to set up a system to where we have something for just about every budget.
Right.
And then on the outside, we're gonna set up some food trucks with some outdoor seating, make it like a vibe, area for people to come in, which makes it easier for the people in the kitchen, right? If we make this a place where people, come and hang out, the people that are renting out the kitchen, it makes it a little bit easier to set them up. And then also set up some vendor spaces, whether it be some pop-ups. I really want our pop-ups to be like that next level shit though. Like I want to set them up in like those refabricated shipping containers that look like shops, so that like you almost have to audition for our shops, right? Because this is like your next step before you go to a storefront, or you really go into a full-blown e-commerce, right? And also have the support, right? Have like the systems and programs in place to support these ventures, right? Because we have a lot of people who have great ideas, right? Great vision, but don't have the resources or the knowledge or the support to get there, right? So we want to have that. And then lastly, we're going to set up the plan is to set up like a beer garden. We'll set up like a microbrewery. So it's like a $3.5 million project that I'm pushing for a SBA loan, because the brewery part makes it a little complicated. So I have to buy the property I'm in, which is 4 acres, 10,000 square feet, and the 2 properties next to it, right? And so one of the properties next to it will be the microbrewery, because technically you can't serve food out of a microbrewery, right? So you got to have like the people next door or
connected to it, right. Trucks around, trucks out in the lot and around and about, or whatever it might be,
right. And so the whole vision behind that, the driving force behind starting my own company in the first place, was the vision of Misfit Leadership is proven that we can have businesses that focus on taking care of the community, taking care of people, and are still successful, right? We can have businesses set up to where everybody can win and everybody can eat, and that's the vision behind it. And it's a bit of a struggle, right? It's a lot of a struggle, right?
Yeah.
I would say the biggest struggle is not selling out, right? The biggest struggle is not selling out because the vision is solid, right? It's a solid business model.
Exactly.
Right. I put the time in, the research. The hard part is, I don't like to generalize. I try not to generalize our people, but working with our people is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard, right? And the hardest part is like people, most of the people that it's hard to work with ain't worth working with. Right. You're not worth the trouble you're bringing. Are you aware that you're not worth the trouble you are bringing?
Very
and there's plenty. I know there's plenty of other people that I'd be able to pitch this to and be able to, walk into it so much easier. But, I've chosen a certain path, and it seems to be my life story that I choose
Right.
the hardest route and everything.
Right. But I mean, and that's in having a dream, in having a goal, in having that idea. The test of time is for you to remain persistent and stick to what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people might sell out or might, okay, I'm trying to move this way. But, if you stick it out and stay persistent and stay about what you want to be about, then, the struggle in the beginning is going to be tough.
Yeah.
You think about giving up, and it's going to test you, and it's going to be no. It's going to be a brick wall after brick wall, hurdle after hurdle. But at the end of it, once people see that you're serious about what you're talking about, then you're going to start catching attention, and it's going to pop off. And then at the end of it, you're not going to regret. You're going to be, it's going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the power of what they call it, manifesting things into your life and affirming things and just going for what you know. That's what you got to do. So I'm proud of you.
I'm just trying to do my best. I'm just trying to do my best to not be petty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When that happens.
Right.
Fuck you.
You can be a little bit petty. You know what I'm saying?
I will be.
Be petty, but be tactful. You know what I'm saying? You can be tactful. So that was when we were in the military, it was all about tact. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be petty as hell, but I'm gonna do it tactfully.
Well, you know how it go, man. After a certain level, you don't got to be tactful. You know,
exactly.
Once you reach a certain level, you ain't got to be tactful before.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's basically what we're working on, man. And it's so we just, man, the things that I've had to learn, right? The things like who would have thought, right? We spent years toting guns for a living, right? Right now I'm out here. I'm sweeping floors. I'm ironing tablecloths.
Right.
Right. I had to take a crash course to get my food manager certification to get my kitchen inspected. I don't know nothing about food. I tell you one thing though, they make me realize how nasty we are at home.
Yeah.
With food.
Right.
Like, ew.
Cross-contamination, what is that? You know what I'm saying? I don't see nothing wrong with using the same spoon. I don't see nothing wrong with using the same knife. Why I just use it for that?
Listen,
as long as I'm using it on steak, I'm using whether it's done or raw. I just use it on the steak.
And they really get you with the stories. You know what I mean? Like you taking the story, they deal with the stories. Like, well, this case study, this person died. Like, excuse me, he died from potato salad.
Right. Potato salad took him out. He was supposed to go.
It was his time. What he say, Rocky? If he dies, he dies.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, we appreciate y'all for joining in and sharing it and commenting. We're going to build up another segment of this thing. We're going to continue to build on it. Like what I want to do is eventually, I was thinking about, I don't know if we want to, if prior to the broadcast, we want to agree on like one old school song or like something old school, something that a song from like when you was in high school or like the first time you heard Tupac or the first time you heard Public Enemy or the first time you like just something nostalgic,
Mm-hmm.
We can either do mine, E's, and yours, Stu, or we can just agree on one and then have that segment in it. And then, like I said, also we're going to have the Ask a Black Vet segment. So we're going to have the Ask a Black Vet segment. So if you got any questions that you want to ask, pertaining to the military, pertaining to veterans, pertaining to any of that right now, you can start posting those in the comments so we can answer those questions. That's going to be a segment of the Flight Chief's office. This is going to be the Flight Chief's office. We're going to broadcast this out the last Sunday of every month, starting around 4 p.m. Eastern
Yeah,
Standard Time, or
I'll be on time.
we agree. You know what I'm saying? If things change, we'll let y'all know. What'd you say? Heath?
I said I'll be on time.
Yeah, I would try to be on time. We all gonna try to be on time. There's a few technical difficulties, but we're gonna try to get that out there. But even right now, like I said, if you got a question pertaining to the military, pertaining to anything, to ask a black vet, you can put that in the comments right now, because we're gonna try to start been on here a good little bit, because we enjoy conversations. This is why it's called a flight chief's office, because in all actuality, when we used to meet up in the flight chief's office, myself, E, and Stu were flight chiefs working, doing their thing. So, change over, whatever it comes, this and that, pop in and out. We could be in the flight chief's office talking this long, but a lot of times you didn't want to, because you already worked a 12-hour shift. So we had to condense these conversations down to 20 minutes or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or sometimes if we happen to be working with each other on the same flight, then you could just talk all day. But I don't think me and Stu worked. We worked on the same flight for a minute, but I don't think me and you ever worked on the same flight. Did we, E?
Now, only for like that 1 week when you were getting ready to deploy. Other than that, it was always changeover.
Yeah, changeover. So we talk about this when we was in the military. That's why we call this a flight chief's office. But you don't have to be military. You don't have to be a veteran or anything to join in and join in the conversation, because as you can see, in the flight chief's office, all topics go down, and it's raw and it's uncut and it's unfiltered. So we're gonna try to keep that the same way in here. And then the flight chiefs are like, with us being prior military, and we all worked. She worked on a flight line in Roosevelt. Okay.
Puerto Rico. Nobody's safe in the flight chief office.
Nobody's safe.
It'd be the worst, right? When one of your troops come in, when other people around change over, with other flight chiefs in the office.
Yeah.
And they gotta get ate up, or when a troop come in and you got to deal with it in front of other flight chiefs, and you're like, oh, I can't look like no punk.
Right.
Shoot, I used to just call all the patrols to the flight chief office.
You used to call them there just for that?
Remember, you used to sit there, I call all the patrols back, and I sit there and rant for like 3 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Why? Who was it? Man, who's the other flight chief on mid-shift?
Reagan? Rag. Oh yeah, Rag.
Raglan used to sit in the corner and be nervous because of the stuff I was saying. Oh man, I used to say some crazy stuff.
Raglan was a lot more by the book. He was a lot more by the book than I was. But the one thing I heard, and I mean, and this is a sad story, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like he chose that life. Like I heard like Rag said at one point in time that his ambition was to be a homeless veteran.
I was in that conversation. Like we were there. Like it was me, Luke, I think Bice, and we're all talking about what we're gonna do after retirement. Raglan walks in, and somebody asked him, like, Rag, what you gonna do after retirement? Straight face. He says, be a homeless vet, right? And everybody starts laughing, and I stop. I'm like, yo, I don't think he's playing, right? And he looked at us like, what's the problem?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is, I think he is fulfilling that. Because I think I talked to Morris, and he said he ran up on him in the park.
Listen, I'm be honest, man. Sometimes I be wondering, like, we look at him like he's crazy, and I be wondering if he got it figured out, and we the ones that's crazy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, after a while, man, you start to realize, I would say the biggest thing that I learned that helped me financially, right? I still splurge here and there, but is that we don't need the majority of stuff that we have or we spend money on. We don't need all it. Like we jump into this rat race and pursue these material things.
About buying things to impress people that don't even like you or that you don't like.
Right. Right. You know what I mean? So like sometimes I wonder, like, you know what I mean? Like, because I've slept in my car before and I've gotten good sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe we the ones that's crazy.
I mean, in my job over here, I deal with a lot of homeless people in downtown Atlanta, and you know, they're you know, I can see where they're coming from. Like, hey, I'm free. You know, like, yeah, you know, I see your point, but at the same time, I just woke you up from sleeping next to a dumpster, and you got these sores, and you smell, and you're dirty, and you don't have this, and you don't have that. So it's just kind of like, how free do you want to be? I don't want freedom. I don't want freedom at that cost. I want to be comfortable. I've never been one to let status or having certain things pressure me. You know what I'm saying? I feel humbled because I tell a lot of people this story. Like, when I came up, like, let me see, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, like in Mississippi, my family worked for the rich white folks across town. You know what I'm saying? And with rich white folks across town often gave them clothes, whatever. Like 9th grade, 7th grade, I had underwear with one of my classmates' name on them because he went to camp and his mama put his name or these little fucking laundry marks on his clothes, you know? So I'm sitting up in class, you know, I got his shoes on, I got his drawers on, I got his pants on, and he's sitting right here next to me in English class, you know? So for me, at that point in time, you know, and that my mom, you know, and I it wasn't no shit I could say about it. I could raise hell, I could fuss, I could do whatever, but okay, you don't like it, don't wear it. Go to school naked. That was my choices. Those are my options. Either suck it up or deal with it, you know? So I've never been one to be pressured by impressing and trying to have this status or doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna be said all day. You can, you know, no matter what level I'm at, you can meet me at whatever level I'm at. You can think of what you want to think about me, but I'm gonna always be real. I'm gonna always be honest, and I'm just gonna be myself. I don't really care about impressing nobody. And that's, you know, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there who struggle and put themselves through a lot of mental stress and a lot of bullshit trying to impress people that don't really care.
Yeah. Listen, I wear the same thing every day. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care. I wear the same thing I ain't here to impress nobody. But yeah,
man. I think that's the thing that's in our culture. I feel like that part is what drives Black people to buy a lot of shit that just depreciates. Because once they get these stimulus checks, these income tax checks, like I've never been proud of the way that Black people wait on income tax and talk about it and just go out and buy shit that don't matter. Stuff that, you know, and then later on 6 months, you know, 3 months, 6 months down the road, you asking for a loan or asking to borrow something when you could have got yourself ahead with your income tax return. Just save it or do something else with it, or just don't count it, you know?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that kills our culture. The need to be seen.
Yeah,
the need to be accepted.
Have you ever seen that video of there was a video that was an old video that's talking about how to sell to a Black man and how to talk about putting a label. You saw that video, Stu?
Yeah.
I ain't see that one. Send that to me.
Man, I used to post all that stuff, man, but then don't nobody listen. So
you got to be careful, man.
About a lot of stuff because people don't listen no more.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I know that you can't talk about it, Stu. You can't talk about it until we reach a certain level, but then they treat you like Kanye.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what you were saying earlier, Stu, about when you was talking about the misfit leadership and how our flaws make us who I am. And then we had just talked about Kanye earlier. I think Kanye's song, Everything I Am, like in that song, he says, everything I'm not made me everything I am. And that line always resonated with me because, yeah, that's real. Like, you know, when you meet people, and like, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of people meet me, they feel like I'm quiet. Oh, he's such a nice guy. He's so sweet. He's so this. But in my, if you knew me like I knew me, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, even some of the shit that I've done, I'm ashamed of, or I don't look like, you know, like, no, I'm not that person. I'm not an angel at all by any means, you know. But even in those bad decisions that I made, even in those missteps, it has made it either inspired growth, maturity, a lesson learned, or something that came out of it. And fortunately, I was blessed with the mentality and the maturity to learn from those things and to, you know, maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, maybe not the third time, but eventually I think I have gotten to a point to where I learned my lessons, you know.
If there was anybody that was a misfit NCO, I think I was the probably the misfit of the misfits.
You think
you got all the fights
you the poker child?
I was probably the worst one.
No, I don't know, Stu. No, I think maybe from a leadership standpoint, but everybody loved you.
Yeah,
everybody loved.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody that I was equal to or below me loved me, but everybody above me thought I was garbage. So, I mean, so what's true leadership? If the people under you would do anything you want them to do, or the people above you think you're trash, and the thing is, the people above you most likely are out of touch. They don't know at the ground level.
That was one of the things that I know. That was one of my notifications, or that was one realization that I came to, like, getting close to, you know, because I tested for master a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? Because Stu, you got out as a tech or a master?
As a master.
Yeah, you got out as a master. I never got to master. Stu, you never got to master either.
I think I tested once, but yeah, I think I made tech at 12, man.
Right.
So for 8 years, I just never, like, I tested for master one time, and then every time after that, my PT scores wasn't there.
I made tech at 8 years, I believe.
Shit.
I believe. You know what I'm saying? So I was, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was on the right track, you know, but then certain things started to happen, or just like the game that's being played, or like the system that's set up, you know what I'm saying? Just that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? To where after, you know, I'm missing it by 0.0 whatever points of this, you know, all this, and then they're gonna take away. They took away our points for deployments and all the shit that helped you kind of boost you up. They took away what in the last 3 or 4 times I tested. And then I looked at it. That's what I looked at. I'm like, should my leadership be judged about these people that never come around and see how I lead, never really engage with me or my people? Or should my leadership be judged by the reaction that I get from my troops? You know what I'm saying? Like, really, your troops should be right. Your EPR should be written from the people that you lead. Your ability for leadership should be determined by them for the most part, and for the majority of it, and a small percentage of it, or then maybe the ones above you can take that information and see where you stand and analyze it maybe and give you a pass or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But it's backwards.
It's a tough balancing act. Yasmin asked when we got out. I got out in 19. Stu.
I got out 17.
And they got out 17. It's a balancing.
October of 17.
It's a balancing act, though, right? And the problem is that right, the good people like us, right, like you guys, don't spend enough time learning the game and the system, right? Because we focus too much.
At the end of the day, we don't want to. I
know we don't want to. We may not want to, but we may not want to. I didn't want to, but at the same time, that's when you get Katas that are in charge. People like old Kata, right? Old buddy that gave us hell when we was working together, Stu, right?
What was that one? The flight chief. He was a white guy, skinny, dark hair. That was over mid's flight. Not Vice.
I don't even know.
I can't remember his name, but he was like one of those good old boys.
It's Cotter.
No, it wasn't Cotter. He was pre-Cotter. This was when I first got there.
Before Cotter, mids.
Yeah, I think he was mids. Him and that tall white dude with the Adam's apple got caught up in some. Because the tall dude with the Adam's apple.
He's talking about your guy. He's talking about your guy.
There's something wrong to
the canine handler guy.
No. He was married. He was married to the chief.
Oh yeah, don't.
Gates.
Yeah.
Yes. People like him. Prosper.
I won't say on social media how I feel about Gates. I won't say it. but here's what's crazy. I was groomed, man. I was groomed early on. Like when I was in Germany, what, year 5 made staff. I was a Mason, so like I had a chief, a senior, everybody was around me. I was groomed. And then I went to Minot. And I was left in Minot for 9 years.
9 years in Minot?
I knew how real it was when I went to NCO Academy and I had to stand up and teach the nuclear portion of the class because my instructor didn't know about the nuclear process or nuclear triad or anything like that. That's what happened to, by the time I left Minot, you got to think about it, I left Minot, came to Edwards. My window had already shut. Nobody cared. Like when you get to a certain point, you got to start doing first sergeant. You got to leave the career field. You got to start doing these things. I got trapped in PRP for 9 years. And you want to talk about burnout.
Which should have helped you.
You want to talk about burnout, but people burn out by deploying twice in 3 years. I was in a nuclear world for 9 years doing NSIs and NSABs every year.
And a nuclear world that had like 2 sunny days. Minot.
Man, so working -40, -50 weather. So
right, and you was there during the bullshit too.
I was there during 08, 09 when it got real, when we were failing inspections and flying nukes across the country. And then even when I left, you know how I left? My old senior made chief, and he got orders to Maelstrom, but he had worked in Randolph for the what do you call that? The guy that picks
the assignments manager.
Yeah, so he had just left the career field manager job, and he had stopped in Minot to see everybody before he went to Maelstrom. And he walked in my office. I was working S5. He walked in and he said, "You're still here?" And I said, "Yup, nobody, like I can't get out of here." He said, "Send me an email of where you want to go." I sent him an email. 2 weeks later, I had orders. But I'm burnt out. So when you guys got me, I was burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got me orders in 2 weeks when I had ops officers and seniors telling me, "We're gonna get you orders, we're gonna get you orders." 9 years, man. And you gotta think about it. What happened with my PT? I blew my knee out in 08. I had 2 knee surgeries. They tried to medical discharge me like years ago. And I just kept roughing it through just to stay in.
Right.
But I never made the scores for my EPRs to be like that, to test.
Mm-hmm.
So I just I didn't care. Like when I got to Edwards, man, I was already burnt out.
When did you get to Edwards?
2014, right?
2013. I went to Minot 2005.
Okay.
And that's part of the problem with leadership, right? And it's like one of the things I always hated was like that statement, people like nobody cares more about your career than you do, right? It's not leadership, right? So like as a staff, right, no matter how hard I work, I don't know what it takes to make tech. As a tech, no matter how hard I work, I don't know what it takes to make master, right? The master sergeant above me is the person that knows what I need to do and needs to, like, you know what I mean? That needs to take the time and be like, "Hey, my guy is kicking ass," right? If he's slacking here, I'm gonna let him know, boom, I need you to make some adjustments here and I'll take care of the rest. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that are supposed to take place,
Right.
and that's not what happens. Like it was such an injustice. It always broke my heart to see, right, especially rising up in the ranks and getting into certain conversations. You look around the room, right, and you see the type of people in this room, right. It's sad because you know that the best people in the unit ain't the ones wearing these stripes and these ranks,
Right.
right? And it'd be sad. Like you got cats that determine the how good somebody is based on how well they know them. And I'm like, if I'm a chief, right? If I'm a chief and you're a flight chief and you always in my face, then you can't be doing your job.
Right.
Like you can't be doing your job.
Right.
You know
I
what I'm
knew,
saying?
like y'all brought up Gates. I knew the game was BS a long time ago, and that's the thing. When I got to a certain point, even when I got to Edwards, I was like, I'm just gonna take care of the kids. I'm just gonna take care of the kids because you got somebody like Gates, and since we're talking about it, drinking and driving, doing all this crazy stuff, and his wife's a chief, and the airmen are seeing him cover it up in front of everybody.
Right. Man, when I was in Italy,
And
I
he
couldn't-
the first to hang somebody
Yeah,
once he get the opportunity.
so
exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Like we go to certain places where you can't have your phone. He be on his phone texting while we're there, and I'm in the truck with him, like looking at him, and then he get out and yell at somebody for their boots not being tied.
Right.
And it was at that point where I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm just gonna stay to retire. But this thing ain't honorable no more. Like integrity ain't real no more.
Right.
Ain't nobody practicing integrity no more.
They're not. And listen, like, and it's crazy because like one of the best things that happened for my career was you coming to work with me. Like, and it's crazy because they thought they were shitting on you. You know what I'm saying, by sending you the mids. But like the best thing that ever happened to me was us working together. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't even I can't even like express how much like you held me down. And one, the confidence you had in me, right? The confidence you placed in me to be that leader in the first place. And then two, like during that stretch, right? Because you know, you were there in the beginning of like probably one of the biggest downhill spirals in my life, to where, you know what I mean, you were constantly like, don't worry about it, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the funniest moment was when you called me that one day, like, yo, what did you do? They just called me and said, I'm the flight chief. What did you do?
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things about, like when I look back at it, when I look back at the situation, and when I look at it now, like recently, like last year when they was talking about, oh, we're going to correct this race issue in the Air Force. We're going to correct this. We're going to correct all these things. I'm like, man, if they had paid attention years ago, man. Like I remember leaving when I left Germany, I was a superstar, man. And I got to Minot, and the first thing, because you got to understand, this is before they shipped people out of those northern tier bases. So those were people that lived there, and they would go there and they'd stay there 20 years. One of the first things the NCO said to me is, I don't think you belong in my Air Force. And I knew what he was talking about. And he was open about it. And they were open about it. And I was like, this is crazy. So that at that point, I stopped thinking I'm going to be a chief and I'm going to make a career out of this. I just started thinking this is a hustle. This is a hustle. And then when I got towards the end, I'm like, I'm just going to hustle to the end to get my retirement. That's it. Like, because it's not what they say it is. I remember being in NCO Academy.
It's like love. It's a myth, right?
Who was that, love? I remember being at NCO Academy, right? And we were doing the, you do that portion when you act out the disciplinary actions or whatever. You call in your troop or whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody was calling their troops. Now you got to understand, half of my class, the majority of my class, are not even in their original AFSC. They're on a special duty, and they're planning on going back and then going to another special duty. First sergeant or something to climb the ladder. Everyone is like sitting behind their desk, and they got their troops sitting in front of their desk. They're doing their thing. Well, my turn comes in, I move the desk out the way, and I put the 2 chairs in front of each other. So my troop walks in, and I don't even talk about the paper yet. I have a conversation with him. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? Because it was something like domestic issue or something. And I'm like, hey, so what's going on? And I break the ice. So we both laughing. And then I bring in the situation. And I'm like, all right, so how, this is where we're at. We got to find a path forward to rectify this and get you on a better path. After that was over, I got dinged points because I moved the desk out the way. And I tried to explain to him the desk is a barrier. And I need to communicate with this person. I need to move the barrier out of the way. Mm-hmm. First of all, bring them down, bring the anxiety down through a conversation where we're laughing, and then we talk about the topic. Mm-hmm. So that way we can get some resolution to it.
Right.
The instructor didn't even really understand. Yeah. And I'm like, why am I here if you guys don't understand communication and leadership one-on-one, where we got to break these barriers down and get to the true root of the problem.
That instructor was probably
on the carpet. They think leadership is call them on the carpet, point your finger, knife hand, and all that stuff. They think, oh, that's what you. No, there's another way to do this.
But that instructor was probably someone who didn't have the experience in dealing with those situations in the first place, and was probably one person who probably took the job trying to get on that fast track to promotion as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've one of my feedbacks with Piv, right, the midget, right. He bring me over. We doing the feedback. Dude tells me that I need to be out doing other stuff and let my techs run the flight. Like what kind of leader is that? Like what kind of feedback is that? Like literally, he's like, go do stuff in the wing in the group and let your techs run the flight. Why? So now you can call me and tell me I'm not doing my job as a flight chief.
Exactly. Right. I'm not doing what you think I want to do. So if I'm not here and I'm letting my techs run the flight, then that just what descent is that going to give your flight? Oh, we don't know you. Who are you? I report to Tech Sergeant such and such or whoever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that disconnect, me as a leader, as a real leader of my people, because I actually care about my flight. I don't care about your promotion. I don't care about your, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, I know I need it. I know I would like to have it. I would like you to understand that what I'm doing, the way that I'm leading my flight, because the A flight is different from B flight, whatever culture that, the flight chief kind of sets the tone and builds and understands for their flight is the way that this is the direction we're going to go. You know what I'm saying? So, and then especially like when it comes down to what shift you're working, because I can't leave if you're on mids and you letting the techs run a flight. Where am I? What am I doing?
Mids is rough.
If I'm on swings, what am I doing? All back office is gone. Like day shift, you can move around, you can do certain things, whatever. What I'm saying? It's a little bit easier to send people to appointments and to make sure that your troops go to their appointments and do everything that they're supposed to be doing. Because everything is open. But after 4:00, if you work in a swing or whoever, either if you're going to swing, then you got to deal with people. Oh, I need to post you here, but you're going to be late because you got this appointment at whatever, before you come to work. You got this appointment at 1, so I understand you're going to be late, so you got to deal with them. If you're on mids, now I got to ask you to stay awake, drive home sleepy, or do whatever, or go home and then come back. It's just bullshit, And I think once you remember when the squadron changed to the orderly room, kind of extending their hours. I feel like I helped to start that, because I was coming in and they was always coming in. And you remember the leave checklist that we had at Edwards? How long it was in the beginning? And I'm like, why do we have to do all this bullshit just to go on leave?
Right.
And so we started the electronic thing, and it wasn't perfect, but that was like because of things that I noticed that I'm trying to implement and trying to help simplify this process for more people who just ain't on days, because that shit is hard for people who on, you know what I'm saying, if you on a mid and then you got to come in and go to all like a whole like out processing checklist of people. I'm not out processing. I'm just going on leave. So honestly, really the only thing that you should have to do when you're going on leave, ask your flight chief, can I go on leave? Make sure that, you know what I'm saying, ain't no pertinent appointments or whatever, all them shit, reschedule any appointments that you're gonna have on that time, and then be the fuck out. Not this whole out processing checklist of leave people.
Like last year, every year, especially once you get out, you hear about one or two people like the suicide thing. But like last year I heard quite a few names. I had quite a few people reach out to me and say this person and this person.
Right.
And man, and I think a lot, I don't know all of it, but I think a lot of it has to do of the lack of the point that a lot of the good leadership left or retired or just moved on. There's so many times, man. I had a kid one time, his wife left him while he was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me at his front door crying because his house was empty. I went to his house, man, and we just sat there for like 2 hours. And we cried and we laughed.
I remember you told me the story.
Everything. And then on the way out the door, I said, hey, man, you got any guns in the house? He said, yeah. I said, I'm going to need those. He gave me his guns. I called the first sergeant, let him know what was going on. But me and the guy, we had a couple drinks or whatever, and I just needed to know he was good before I left. So then he shows up to the flight chief office the next day. What does the flight chief do? Yell at him. And it's like, this is something I've seen over and over and over. Because not flight chief, but your first sergeant. Because your first sergeants ain't there because they want to help people for the most part. Most of your first sergeants are there to make chief or to make senior.
Right.
Or try to get to the next step. Man, so the whole game is screwed up, man. The whole game is messed up.
Listen, I think
it's sad.
It is sad. It was crazy because like it kind of goes back to accountability, right? Like when I look at somebody or hear one of those stories, right? Because I know one of them hit home for all of us, right? And it's like, does anybody in those leadership positions, like applying that pressure, right, feel any remorse or accountability? You know what I'm saying? Because like you got to understand that there's different things that come into play, right? And they teach us in psychology the three big things in life, right? Your personal, your finances, and your work, right? And if you have a situation where the three of these things are out of whack, I mean, you can survive if one of them's out of whack, right? But the other two is good, or even if two of them out of whack and one of them good. But when you start hitting them in every single direction, especially in the military life, right? The military life, you come in, you have an issue with a military issue. It impacts both your finances and your work. It impacts everything. You know what I'm saying? So like how you treat somebody when they're going through it. Like, and that was always one of my biggest things. It's like I always wanted to make sure no matter what type of situation my people was going through, they knew they had my support. Right? I don't care what type of, like, even the biggest piece of shit. Like you may be a piece of shit for the military, but that don't mean you're a piece of shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Completely. You know what I'm saying?
Because when we always know, we know everybody on flight knows who the dirtbag is. Everybody knows who the dirtbag is. But at the same time, yes, everybody on this flight is gonna pick on you for being a dirtbag. But I want the rest of y'all to know, like, look, at the end of the day, if you posted at the gate with this dirtbag, no matter where you are with this dirtbag might be the person that you depend on to have your back and save your life at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? The first thing you do when you come to work is get a gun. You know what I'm saying? So you might have to depend on this person to get you out of a shitty ass situation because you never know what's gonna happen. So it might behoove you to, joke around a little bit, but also get to know this person and talk about real shit on the side. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even the ones that get in trouble, right? Like if this person's already facing a triple nickel, right? They've been relieved of duty and pretty much put on blast because you got them on that detail flight. Like, why compound the issue by treating them like shit?
But that is security forces
Like,
mandatory.
This the crew that needs your attention.
The what they call it, the crew or whatever it is, whoever's over the crew, you know what I'm saying? And normally they put a dirtbag ass NCO over the crew, somebody who ain't got no power nowhere else. So he treating all them like shit. And it's just like juvenile or any kind, like you just learning bad behavior over and over again. And then everybody else is in the squadron is looking at you as bad. And as soon as you show up, they just looking for the negative, and they ain't even trying to mentor you anymore, or trying to, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I told my supervisors. I'm like, look, you know, like, yeah, all this, if you don't want to be here, get out of my Air Force and all that stuff is what it is. But I said, if you as a supervisor, if you have a troublesome truth, if you have a problem kid, then that's a test to you as a supervisor, because you're supposed to bring that person up to par. That is your challenge. It's not your, you know what I'm saying? Your first challenge is to try to get that person up to par. That's your first challenge is not to paperwork, you know, to get this person kicked out. Your first challenge is to get them to where they need to be.
Yeah.
Find out why they are behaving this way. Find out what's going on with them. Find out what makes them tick. And then try to get them there. And if you can't, you know what I'm saying, because there's just some lost causes, no doubt, you know what I'm saying, then, and even in out processing them, and even them transitioning them to be out of the military because maybe they're just not military material, you are still on their side. Like, look, man, I'm just going to be real with you. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But this is how we're going to do this.
But I think a lot of people can't do that because they're not leaders. They don't know how to lead people. So they just find the good ones, they ride their coattails, and then the bad ones they just give up on because then if you see, okay, if you can't mentor the bad ones,
it's laziness. It's laziness.
It's like, okay.
I mean, but they're not promoting leadership though. Like leadership doesn't get promoted. Like leadership doesn't get promoted. Like and that's why, you know, I feel bad, but I don't think race issues is going to change in the military, at least not the way we need it to, right? I don't think it's going to change the way we need it to, right? Because really it all ends up being the same problem, right? The same problem with suicide, the same problem with race issues, the same problem with, you know, right, discrimination. Is all a leadership problem, right? It's an accountability problem. It's a leadership problem, right? It's the fact that motherfuckers aren't paying attention until it's too late. Right. When somebody offs themselves, it's too late to have discussions with everybody about suicide and ask people how they doing. Right. By the time you realize there's a race issue, this person was probably discriminated and shitted against their entire career already, and by that point, it's too late. Right. When you look at the disparity, right, in discipline between black and white males, we didn't need a report to tell us that a year ago. Right. You didn't need none of that. Right, you just needed people who's going to pay attention and do something, and that's not what you got. And then when your response, right? I knew they was going to lose. I knew it was going to lose when they stood up. What they stood up, that diversity office, right? That diversity section. Isn't that what MEL is supposed to be? Right? You already have it. You already have an MEL office. You already have an office that's specifically for that. So what's going to change when you open up a new one? Nah, y'all just need to pay attention. Like, just be honest, right? Just be honest.
Yeah,
that's it, right? And it's just funny, like commanders.
As in the earlier conversation when we talk about relationships, you know, even the relationship between supervisor or whatever, honesty is the baseline of all relationships. I believe. Just be honest. You know what I'm saying? That's the foundation. Just be who you are, as much who you are as you can be. You know what I'm saying? Then me as the leader, you know, and that's what I always promoted to my troops. Like, just don't lie to me, you know, because I don't want to look, you know, because I want you to understand that I'm here for you and I'm gonna try to support you in any way that I can, you know. But if you messing up, I'm gonna let you know. If you need, if you need to find another plan, I'm gonna let you know. But always be honest with me. Just tell me the truth, and then we can go from there. If you lie to me, then you're ruining your credibility. You're ruining my ability to help you, because I'm gonna help you based off your lie. You know, when and that is not actually that's actually not the help that you needed. I just, you lied to me and I helped you according to your lie. But the help you really needed, because you weren't honest with me, I could have given you that help. The help that you really needed, I could have given you. It might not be the help you want or that you think you need. I could have helped you off of that basis, because now this is gonna come up again, or it's gonna cause a problem later on, because you should have been honest with me in the first place.
I try to give airmen the same room, the same flexibility that leadership gave tech sergeants who got hit up for sexual harassment. They just sent them on a deployment and let them make master, or all these little situations that they let play out and let happen. Like one of the airmen we lost last year. I remember years ago, like kind of trying to work through things and financial things and other things to get them back on track. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I've seen so many things wrong with it. That's why, like, when I got out, I don't miss it. Like, I put like pictures on my wall, like on some vanity shit, but I don't miss it so much. Like, especially with me and my exit. Matter of fact, had P not come by and gave me my plaques, I wouldn't have got them. Like, he came by and gave me my retirement plaques. Like, me and the Air Force's relationship was like the guy that leaves while she's at work and just packs his stuff. I just left in the middle of the night, never came back. Nobody even knew I was gone. And had it not been for Peen coming by, getting my retirement plaques and saying, "Hey, thank you for your service," the Air Force would have never said anything.
Right. I mean, and that's just where, that's one thing about the Air Force and about that type of thing. Did P freeze? You froze, or you just looking at something?
I think he's moving.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
But that's one thing about, when you go to commander's call, when you read the regs and go to these leadership schools and everything, about how they don't practice what they preach, because they preach like, we're looking out for you and we're going to do this, and the expectation for the establishment to be that leader, to be that, because I know me as a leader, what I'm doing is what you asked me to do. Really, at the end of the day, I'm leading. I'm getting things done. I'm making changes. I'm mentoring people. I think at one point in time, because I think when Della and Mo, like a couple of my troops from my flight went to S5. I think it was S5. That was where, down there in the corner where that Sales took over, right? That was S5. Yeah, like a lot of, like, they, but they were good troops. And prior to me coming in there are certain flight chiefs who will not motivate their troops, or when one of their troops wants to go for a back office job or want to do something else, if they're a good troop, they'll want to stifle them and hold them back. That's a lot of times in the military, the one who's doing the work ends up getting shitted on in an indirect way, because you do the work instead of mentoring the dirtbag and making the dirtbag step up. Okay, yeah, you want to apply for this job? I'm going to recommend you. I'm going to put you in for it. Go for it. I want you to get that. If anybody in this squad is going to get it, I want it to be somebody from my flight. But a lot of flight chiefs don't have that mentality. They have the mentality of, no, I want to keep you because you're good and whatever. And it's all I understand the sentiment, but don't be selfish and let this person go and and get more shit in their resume and expand their career field and get this other experience and make the other ones step up. Just don't rely on your go-to person, your dependable person. Let your dependable person prosper and then make everybody else step up. That's your job as a leader.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's sad, you know what I mean, to have the leaders that aren't legitimately taking care of their people. And Stu hit it on the nail with that whole giving the troops the same latitude or leeway that we give leaders, right? And around the time, you know, you guys were already gone, but before I left, you know, something magically happened to where I became, you know, in charge, right? Ops into
Right.
IC, ops superintendent, right? Who would have thunk it, right? And
I mean,
but
to keep it real, P, like, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I like, if anybody was gonna go that route, I believed in you to go that route. I just felt that. You know what I'm saying?
well, I believe I deserved it, but you know, the shit that I went through, right?
Exactly.
Ideally,
That was the part that pissed me off because, like, I knew you deserved it. We all knew you deserved it, and we felt like they should have been on your side. But the shit that you went through, it hurt me because, like, why are you doing this to him?
right. But it was tough, and so. But when I became in charge, I flipped the switch. I flipped everything on its head, right? That whole leaders getting like I was holding them to the fire. You know what I'm saying? It was way too much of leaders blaming other people and not taking accountability. And I was big on like, nah, it's not the troops' fault, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right? It's your fault, right? I had to have a conversation one time in the flight chief hall because we had a bunch of people coming in. Everybody went day shift. I said, listen, I said at this point in time in our careers, there's nobody in this room that doesn't have a family or baby issue, right? That's why y'all get paid more money. Y'all gonna have to go to mids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and if anything, I need more people. I need more flight chiefs on mids than I do on days because it's easier, right? If you need a day off for a day shift guy, you just need one day. If you need a day off for a mids guy, you need 2 days off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need more people on mids. Like these cats will start crying. And I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, I got childcare issues. What do you tell the kid, the troop, the A1C that really can't afford it, that they got childcare issues?
Right.
You're not giving them a break when they're late because their babysitter had an issue or they got.
Do you feel like, as far as things are concerned, that at least for us shift workers, do you think the CDC should have been a 24/7 operation?
I don't know because they charge too much in the first place.
They do.
They charge too much. Like I think the CDC should be free. Like I think the government should take that bill.
Yeah.
I think the government should just own that bill.
When me and I was a cop and my baby mama was in a dental clinic, and you know she wanted to get married or whatever. I'm like, look, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Look at what the CDC charge us because you are a single senior airman, right? That's our bracket. That's what we pay. If we got married, look what they would charge us for the same kid. We ain't gonna do that.
I know, yeah, them CDC bills.
You know, but I mean that is real because it's just like that. The things that they don't provide, the expectation that they expect you to have, but the provisions are not there for after 4 o'clock or whatever. You know, you gotta make it happen, and unfortunately, you know, it's like people on nights or something like that are held, you know, it's harder for them. Yeah. Sometimes with certain things, childcare issues and certain things like that. Because like I said, at the end of the day, babysitters are sometimes easy to find during the day, during that 8 to 5 or whatever shift. Making appointments, doing volunteer work, doing all the extras that you're supposed to do as a all around development as a person, as a what they call it, the whole person concept. It's easier to do during the daytime.
Yeah.
If you work at mids, you got to stay up and try to get some of that stuff in.
Mm-hmm. Listen, one. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
One of the most annoying things when I was working mids, right? It'd be like, you know, because you gotta be present if you want to be an effective leader, right? But also, if you want to take care of your people, a lot of stuff you gotta do, you gotta get done during the day, right? And one of the most annoying things, they'd be like, I'd be walking in like, P, you don't never sleep, right? Motherfuckers be laughing like, man, what, how do you do it? Like, bitch, you think funny? Do something about it, like,
Yeah.
like this shit ain't funny. Like I remember a couple times, like motherfuckers canceled the flight chief meeting. I walk in the ops office like, yo, he's like, oh, what you fuck you mean? Oh, nigga, I'm
tired. For real. You done got up or stayed up or whatever you had to do, and you got to be back at this certain time. So now you just messed up your whole cycle.
Yep. And quiet as it's kept, man, like being a real leader is a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Like especially like that first 2 hours, like getting these mugs like armed up and on shift, and getting the shift started. Like that's the first two and the last two.
Right.
Like that's a rough go at it.
Right. And we did it without thinking. But at the end of the day, the think about the accountability and responsibility in just that, in just allowing a person to get a gun. You have to be in tune enough with these people. You have to be an effective enough leader or engaged enough to be able to tell, like, maybe you shouldn't get a gun today. Even if you don't recognize it yourself, somebody, you have to be in enough close interaction with your people for somebody to come let you know, like, hey, this person said this person did that, this happened, that happened, in order to let that person get 30 rounds of 9mm ammo, 220 rounds or 120 rounds of whatever, depending on where you located at, of 5.56, 2 weapons, a taser, pepper spray, an asp, and send them out to interact with other people. At the end of the day, that comes back on you.
It's a lot of responsibility.
But that's within the first 15 minutes of you getting to work.
It's crazy though. Sometimes it felt like those NCOs that were charged with that were deemed the worst NCOs in the unit.
Mm-hmm.
They were deemed like, because I remember seeing NCOs come in. There was one NCO that came in, man, and his second day on flight, he had his blues because he was going for a back office job, and he got it. He got that back office job. Like, nobody wanted to be on flight, man. That's crazy. Why would you want to be on flight?
It's crazy, but I mean, but given the right circumstances, though, like being on flight was the best job.
Yeah,
like given the right circumstances, right? If you have a leader that's not, if you have an OPSO and an ops officer that's not bugging you, like, and actually support you, like, there's really no, like, the hours are better, right? The camaraderie is better, and like,
right. I mean, being a flight chief was like, would you say at the end of the day, being a flight chief equates to being like a drill sergeant? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the next level. It ain't, because you are influencing the future of whatever. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your leadership style, these people can remember you, can go by whatever you say for their entire career. Like, we can retire. Like, I'm retired now. I'm seeing troops of mine make master, make whatever. But I still kind of, you know what I'm saying, get a sense of I had a hand in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I look at it as just being like a manager. We just kind of manage their lives and manage their job performance while we were there. Like, but I mean, I don't think I had like positive effects like that. Not with
You
promotion.
did. You don't think, you always think you the ultimate
people call me,
pessimist, dude.
like when it's time for like promotion ceremonies, I still get calls. Like, can you come to my promotion ceremony and stuff like that? But by the time, like, but I was just being real with them. Like, this is what you like. I was maybe I was too real with a lot of them, which is why
That's
I think
the payoff. The fact that they invite you to those things lets you understand that what you was doing was good, right?
Because I used to bring them in bullshit, yo. Like conversations I should have had with y'all, I used to have with the airmen. Like, this is fucking bullshit. We got to come in tomorrow and do training. I'm supposed to be telling them that. I'm supposed to be like, hey, we got to do this training, y'all.
Who says though? Who says that you got to be like that? Is according to the rule book?
Led into other things. Like, there was other NCOs that saw that and went and told leadership, like, yo, Stu is a dirtbag, man. You want to leave?
But all right, but you're actually there with you're actually there training with them though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them other cats who saying that you shouldn't say that, they're the cats that skipping out of trade. This is one of the things I hated. Right? I did my, unfortunately sometimes I had to, but for the most part I tried to make sure I was at training with my troops. You gotta, if you working with a motherfucker, you gotta train with the motherfucker. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like we in too deep. Is that there is no real solution or fix.
I just let it go, man.
Because there's a difference, too. This is what I'm saying. Okay, so I mean, I think I go along the same lines as that. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm going to, we are taught as leaders or whatever leadership model that they give us. We are, in order to, when the rules come down, we are supposed to project the buy-in. We ain't supposed to say nothing negative. We're supposed to be like, oh yeah, we got this training. You guys need to be there and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like you. I'm gonna keep it real. It sucks. We got this stupid fucking training tomorrow, whatever. But at the end of the day, you say that. You keep it real because you understand that that's how they're gonna feel about it. Mm-hmm. So that makes you are relating to them. They make you making you relatable. You're not just you're not fake. They don't see you as being fake. You just real. You ain't putting on that facade of whatever. And then when training time comes, you are actually there with them, sitting through the training on time, doing what you got to do. Even though I said it sucked yesterday, you know what? I'm here with y'all, But then you got NCOs who will put that out there. Oh, this training, you better be there, be on time, blah, 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 blah. The whole flight is there. Oh, where's
that motherfucker go?
He ain't there.
Nowhere to be found.
Consistent.
Listen, I hated that actually. I hated the way we did training. I didn't like the fact that we had people from another section training our troops.
Right.
I never, as a matter of fact, and there were plenty of times where I would kind of have to like either jump in, like, no, that's not how we doing it on our flight, or unlearn them. Even like certain QC. I had a QC one time. Dude did a QC, one of my gate guards, and the scenario was like ammonium nitrate in the trunk, and like the driver was running, right? And he tried to give my troops feedback to be like, oh, you let them go. I said, wait. Right. I said, hey, you said there's a bomb in the trunk? He said, yeah. I said, I need that motherfucker. So you better go chase that motherfucker. Like, no. trade my troops the wrong way and then I got to deal with it. No.
If it's ammonium nitrate, I'm running too. I'm beside him.
Right. Not only am I running to get him, I'm running to get
Yeah.
away. Like, no, you come back. I need to go get him. Yeah.
I don't miss it, man. I don't miss that at all.
You know what? Yeah, man. People ask me, do I miss it? Like there are certain parts of it. I miss not dealing with sensitive people. Like, even though some of them sensitive, but in the civilian life, man, like these some real sensitive motherfuckers. Like
That's the thing. I don't get. In my civilian life now, I just keep it business, man. I keep it business. Well, when we're talking about work, we're talking about work. I don't get really personal. Not like I used to in the military. I don't really get that personal. And I'm there for my time, and I'm out, man. I punch out.
I mean,
And
well,
that's it,
but how long did you report to the office prior to just working from home? You spend a lot of time in the office around whoever?
Yeah. So prior to COVID, I was in the office. I was in office with another person.
Mm-hmm.
And because we not when I got here in Texas, when I was in Palmdale, we were in Palmdale, so we're doing that classified stuff. So you're in there, but again, I'm talking work stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just talking work stuff, and I'm like I would say the civilian Stu is way more well behaved than the military.
You think so?
I mean, that's why I say, man, for some reason I didn't turn into a good guy because I don't be in there cussing, I don't be in there talking crazy. I talk, business. Hey,
Why do you think that is though?
One, because the pay, man, and then two, I just don't want no trouble, man. I get in.
Well, I mean that is true because at the end of the day, I mean, like being active, it was still, you knew what would get you fired and what wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And being in that, people weren't easily offended or whatever. It wasn't so sensitive, so you could just say whatever and not deal with it.
Yeah, the military. I spent so much time with military people. I'm with you as much time as I am my family.
Right.
Yeah.
But in a civilian, I come in, open up my timesheet, put my time in, and then I leave at the time of my timesheet. And if I stay afterwards, you got to pay me.
Yeah.
And so it's all business.
Right.
So I go in there, do my job, and I leave.
Right.
I don't get into the office mess. I don't get into the office gossip. And then when I work from home, I'm just I'm making sure they see me present.
Right.
So I'm accounted for. I
Right.
do my job. I don't cut no corners. Then I punch out, man.
For sure.
Like I'm not invested as much now. So, because there was many, many years I was invested in the military. And then towards the end, I was like, the military, because when you're doing something 20 years, and my first 10 years, I was invested. But my last 5 years broke my heart. Because I learned the truth later.
Yeah.
Right. Too late.
I mean, I think you see it earlier on, but you still don't want to believe it. But then after that first initial, then after that, you become to accept it, and you just realize, you know what, that's just how it is. That this really is some bullshit.
Man, I've seen airmen like Pino too. I've seen some airmen get kicked out for kissing another man's girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
And then I seen people get a chance to retire for cheating and living with another man's wife and stuff. Depending on who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So when it wasn't fair across the board, man, it was
right.
Just like, and then like sitting in these rooms, sitting in a room with somebody that has the rank on their arm, but they don't have the experience of the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have them critique you.
Yeah.
Their critique, like, and getting the credibility of their critique based on their rank, but not their experience.
That's how I felt about Kata. I think Kata wrote my EPR while I was deployed. I ain't never met this dude in my life, and he like marked me down and shit. I'm like, I came back from the deployment, I went straight to his office, like, who the fuck is you? You know what I'm saying? Not literally, but that's what was in my mind. Like, hey, bro, what?
Like,
Yeah.
man, even that last senior, I forgot his name, man. He was like,
Pivarotto.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
Man, I had this dude, man. We had an accident at the gate. I don't know if y'all was working, but a civilian lady leaving the gate, and she hit a barrier. She was speeding, tore her Volvo all up, flipped over everything, tore her outbound up. He's leaving out. It's like midnight. He's like, "Hey, what's going on? Accident." So we clean up the scene, but she a civilian, and LA County don't want it, but CHP don't want it. And what's crazy is she's at the gate. So at Edwards, the West Gate, like 100 feet past the West Gate is Kern County, and 100 feet inside the gate is LA County.
Right.
That area surrounding the gate doesn't belong to anybody.
Right.
So I called CHP to use their equipment to see if she was, intoxicated. She was intoxicated, but CHP was like, "We're not taking this." So I have an intoxicated person. No police department wants it because it's not their jurisdiction.
Right.
And so it looks like I'm gonna have to let her go. And she tore up our equipment.
Right.
Our jersey barrier and stuff. So he comes back through at like 5 o'clock and he calls me and chews me out. And he's like, "You didn't clean up the scene." Now again, we have no traffic. But I'm like, I'm in a legal conundrum right now. Like, I'm on the phone with Jag because I don't want to let this intoxicated person leave the scene of the accident.
Right.
But it looks like that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Right.
So
But there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm on the phone with all these people, making sure the right decision is made. So rather than my op superintendent calling me to understand the situation, he chews me out because the lane is not cleared out. Yep. And it's those situations, man. So many situations like that where it's like you couldn't have the experience on the job, because if you did, you would understand, okay, this is a legal issue. Let me chime in as your op superintendent and try to get the answer. But it was like, let me yell at you to make myself feel better.
Mm-hmm.
He was a religious dude too. It's like super religious.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other problem. Like, even if you did have the experience, right? Even if what you were doing was 100% wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, how about you just come in there and help,
right?
Or give the right guidance, right? Understand why it's wrong. Be like, all right, just do this and this and this.
I mean, and that's one thing about, you feel like in that career field, there was a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on with shit that you had to do.
Oh, yeah.
Even when it came to QC and exercise, I think there was an exercise. It's like at the end of the day, it's all like what if situations. Mm-hmm. And QC could be like, "Oh, you should have did this, you should have did that." Oh, like if I forget what it was. It was some type of situation where one of my patrols had to pull up on the scene. At the same time, the suspect was fleeing the scene. "Oh, I drove right past you and you did this and that, or whatever, And that's not realistic, because it only would happen that way. You're only thinking that way because you have knowledge. You set up this scenario. So you have knowledge of who you are and who you're supposed to be. But in reality, if I'm pulling up to the scene and you're fleeing on whatever side of the parking lot and I don't see you, and I get out and I go to where dispatch or whatever the desk sergeant told me to go, I'm responding to the scene. I don't really have time to pull out. It was 3 or 4 cars leaving the parking lot. They told me the fire started inside the BX. So I'm going to the BX. Just because you saw my patrol car coming and you decided to leave the parking lot, and I'm supposed to know who you are. No, I said it was gunfire in the BX. That's what I was told. That's where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And because you running away don't mean I should have chased you, because I'm first on scene. All I need to do is radio in and say, "Hey, shut down the gates, start checking IDs and whatever. You know what I'm saying?" But then it gets into that nitpicky what if bullshit scenario that is like gray area of whatever it might be, and you have those QC sections that are sometimes too egotistical or uppity or whatever the fuck they own, that want to scrutinize and nitpick and not look at shit in a real training manner, or they just read a couple of regs and going by. It ain't black and white. Ain't none. When you work in security, law enforcement, the traffic stop you have at 205 ain't the traffic stop that you have at 210, ain't the traffic stop that you have at 215, ain't the one that you have at 3 o'clock. All that shit is different, even though it's the same. You stop somebody from speeding, that can go 1,000 different ways.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of unrealistic expectations, and a lot of their feedback came from the curse of knowledge, right? So you're setting up the scenario, so how things are supposed to play out based on your scenario, but in real life,
you know what you're looking
right?
for.
You're not given certain information, right? And one of the biggest things that used to bother me was like the level of expectation for entry controllers, right? And I used to tell most times, listen, all I need my entry controller to do is listen to what I tell him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I need him to do, right? If I tell him to go do such and such, he know that he ought to go, go take that corner. He know how to take the corner. That's all I care about.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't even know why you need to take the corner. I don't even know, right, what somebody else supposed to do. I just need him to be able to take that corner. Right? Even in like the active shooter type situations and those big, like, major accident type situations, like, we're unrealistic. Like, even on the flight chief level, we know 100% anytime something real happens, right? The next level person, right, even beyond the flight chief, is coming to take over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's going to take over the scene.
Right. Right. If it's on the flight level, the flight chief's going to take over, right? And if it becomes even major accidents, right, the ops should probably come and take over, right? So, like,
but at the same time, when they come and take over, it's still the flight chief telling them what the fuck to do.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of our training was based on unrealistic expectations. I think it got better when we started doing flight led stuff. I think it got better when we started doing flight led train trainer type stuff.
That was one thing at Edwards. I mean, I know even on my part as a flight chief, I always had in the back of my mind that I didn't run enough exercises, because it just seemed like Edwards it wasn't an exercise. I don't know. It just seemed like exercises wasn't that big at Edwards. I don't know. Like, what I'm saying? We did little exercises here and there, but I've been at bases where, exercises was just, that's what you did, and I mean, and a lot of times that built up a lot of the camaraderie, and that built up a lot of the training and the mentorship, to get people to where they were. But I think Edwards' downfall was that, so it got a lot of square footage, it got a lot of land, I got a lot of acreage, a lot of real estate, but it's all spread out and nothing, not a lot happens there. So it's like a lot of complacency, or a lot of, just what it is. And even when you try to do certain things, if you come in and try to run exercise all the time, then it's kind of like this or that, and you end up getting red tape or phone calls or certain things that kind of, as a flight chief, make you end up being like, ain't that what I'm supposed to be doing?
Well, it was a lot of civilians, man. It was jurisdiction issues.
Right.
There were so many things going on at Edwards that we didn't have access to. Like, we didn't know what NASA was doing. We didn't know what was really going on at South Base, or even portions of the flight line. We didn't know what was going on with the And so there was so many things going on that we didn't really even have the real knowledge of what was going on.
Right.
And just the jurisdiction. I've never seen at any base, even in Germany, where you got the SOFA agreement and you got the, we don't really have that much jurisdiction. I've never seen like Edwards, man, where Edwards didn't feel like a military base to me.
Right.
It didn't.
I mean, I always joked about the gym. I'm like, how's this a military base and the gym is like a deployed gym?
Yeah.
And I was like, so I mean, I don't know. I
Fucking
was never seen
clamshell.
like a solid base. And then I don't know, it's kind of crazy, man. When I got out and started working for Northam, I found out more about what was really going on at Edwards than when I was in the military there.
Right.
Like, it was just like, I don't know. It was just crazy how
Yeah.
they don't tell the military as much as they should be telling them.
Mm-mm.
Because I mean, I think then the troops will understand the importance of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know all of it, but some of it they would understand the importance.
Yeah. I think that's it. So I mean, like we're going on 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I'm at 15% on the battery. I don't know how long.
Yeah, I see,
I had to plug mine up.
I know. I don't know if the fam coming in and being like, "Hey, you go come eat dinner."
No, they keep walking by me. I got my food 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
They've been walking.
No, I mean, you know,
I'm about to eat too. I enjoyed this. I needed this, fellas. Appreciate it.
for sure. You know, and we like I said, we're gonna try to do this. We ain't gonna try to do it. We're gonna do this every fourth Sunday, the last Sunday of every month at this time. And me, you know, maybe we'll even bump up the frequency as it grows or as we get to go. I'm gonna talk to you two guys about some of those ideas about, like I said, like the you know, implementing the Ask a Vet section, implementing the old school song section or whatever, and just little certain things, you know what I'm saying, and even, you know, branching off in, you know, whatever, like Stu, what you passion, whatever, like Stu's solo, like what you passionate about, what's on your mind, and then, you know, P, what's on your mind, and whatever's going on, we just break it up like that, in line with the topic that we're talking about. So we appreciate everybody for joining in, for sharing, for commenting, and doing everything with us this evening. Last closing thoughts on love, relationships, or anything we talked about, P?
Love and relationships. I mean, I guess go back to the golden rule, man. Treat everybody like you want to be treated, and you know, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You know what I mean? You can only have true love in any relationship where there's some level of vulnerability, and unless you're willing to do that, you know, you ain't gonna get much out of it.
Right. Stu?
I'll say the only person responsible for your happiness is you. So if you're not happy with yourself, nobody's gonna come in and make you happy. You got to be happy with yourself. You got to know how to make yourself happy first before you can give that responsibility to somebody else and say, because we're together, I'm gonna be happy now.
That's real. That's real. All right. And, you know, I couldn't have said it better myself. Just regardless of what type of relationship you want to build, my main thought coming out of this is, like I said, just be honest. First of all, you're saying it's all about being honest. And the first person you need to be honest with is with yourself. Understand what you want. Understand what really is what you desire or what you want in your life, and build off that, you know, and just know what you want, not from any outside influence, not from how your grandparents did it, not from how your parents did it, whether it was good or bad, you know what I'm saying? Because you can inherit good traits, you can inherit bad traits, but just get down to the core part of you and then start from there and branch out and develop in no matter what type of romantic relationships, work relationships, whatever relationship that you have, start off with being honest with yourself. With that being said, this is the Flight Chief's office. We out. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining in. Subscribe. We'll holler.
Peace.
Peace.